Hi, hello everybody. I am your androgynous android late night DJ Nathan Blades, and this is Euphoria Actual Play with our third and final part of our Heartbeats in Perfect Sync mini campaign, London's Pulse. This episode entitled As Night Becomes Day. We are slightly short on team today. Unfortunately, the one and only Lloyd is a little bit under the weather. It is the season for that. Get your flu jabs, everybody.
Pouring it out.
Please don't. You'll get it on your keyboard. You got to use that to hydrate, Ruben. We all have to. But even though Lloyd can't join us for this session today, it's still going to be a rip roarer, and his character will still get some cool moments, and we'll work together to make sure that happens. Let's go and, however, remind the wonderful listeners out there who these three players are. We are going to start with Ruben. Hi, Ruben.
I was muted. Oh, you caught me off guard. Hello, everyone. I'm Ruben. I will be playing Torea Offshoot in the campaign, a teenage courier who delivers strange, almost otherworldly packages to unknowing recipients.
Mm-hmm. Tendai.
Hi. Am I muted? No, I'm not.
There you go.
Hi, I'm Tendai. I will be playing Rumbi Kuranga, and they are a fashion designer, makeup hobbyist, and yeah, I'm just happy to help people. That's what I like to do.
Marvelous. And last but by no means least, the one and only Chocky.
Hello. I'm Leon or Choki. I am playing the very fashionable, very time-appropriate Loki. Works at a wonderful blockbuster and has just discovered what laser discs are.
Yes. We also have some other introductions to do and general setting for the stream itself, but I don't need to do that. I can do it instead within the narrative, because we see London once again, this time at night. As the various skyscrapers and buildings and street lamps turn on, the light of them flickers in the inky black water of the Thames. As we move the camera over towards the South Bank, a long line following the south edge of the Thames as it runs through London. A collection of places of art, of theatres, of galleries, of street food, of skate parks. But in this particular instance, of cinema. For outside the BFI Filmworks on the South Bank, there has been a number of velvet ropes set up. They decided against doing a literal red carpet, maybe because of cost, maybe because they wanted to kind of distance themselves from the culture of Hollywood. But there are a number of people all gathered around the outside of the ropes, anticipating the various directors, actors, and screenwriters who will be here for the BFI Autumn Indie Film Festival. And the camera lands on one person in particular, a young girl, a little bit on the shorter end, with very kind of like a very biting smile, a very sharp smile. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the channel. If you're catching us live, I am the one and only Dashia Locklear, and I am here in jolly old London, England. We have a lot of things to go over today, so I better go and do the important things first. If you didn't already know, all you party people, this is a Euphoria AP production. Not to mention that this is also sponsored by the UK Tabletop Industry Network. Under which this game was selected to play for all of y'all as part of Black History Month, celebrated in the UK and Ireland. It's in October, party people, not like in February in the US. And additional things to notice, this might be a bit of a spooky time. We are approaching Halloween after all, and this is a tabletop RPG about people dealing with the complexities of their heart. So, I just wanted to go and mention a handful of light safety warnings for all of you so you don't get caught off guard. After all, this is a very generally cheerful anime combat style thing, but we may have themes of like stress and panic, demonic possession, familial conflict, unethical showbiz, especially in this episode in particular, like seriously, forced watching and subliminal messaging, and maybe, depending on where we get to, dangerous railways. Now, I've been flapping my gums while at the same time the kind of Instagram Live, TikTok Live she's on is a whole bunch of, like, messages popping up, like, "We love you, Dashia!" And like, "Oh, subscribe to my channel," and, "Oh, okay, well, that thing the demonic possession is a bit much for me, I'll come back later." She's like, "Well, you gotta have all the context before we go and see these fabulous actors that are gonna be walking behind us for the BFI Filmworks, so I better tell you what happened last time on London's Pulse." So we have normally four protagonists that we're following on in this journey. You've already heard the summary, but we'll give them to you once again. Torea Offshoot, a courier. Loki, just locally. We love him on an M. With the shades.
What?
A VHS rental shop and owner and 90s retro enthusiast. We have Colm Latreya, who is a cab driver and a no-nonsense individual. And we have Rumbi Karanga, who is a fashion designer who knows how to get things done in a killer pair of heels. Interestingly enough, last session was also film-themed. They ran into a new person who is out on these streets trying to fight the darkness in people's hearts. That's called The Pulse, by the way. It's kind of in the title of the whole thing. So they ran into Vox Populi, who had a very kind of like a action movie Super Sentai hero kind of deal. A little bit tacky, if you ask me, but there's no accounting for taste. Still, they proved themselves to be a force to be reckoned with, and considering that Loki was going through a bit of a, how do the Brits kind of describe it, mentee B at the time, he was in a kind of a dark place. He was heartbroken. He was kind of an anti-hero for that kind of thing. And so our Vox Populi was willing to go and take down anybody who had the darkness in their heart. Not really thinking about his own situation, but we won't go there. Ultimately, he was using his control over film and narrative to kind of steer our heroes in towards a single destination and kind of baiting Loki into a bit of a snare. Maybe to go and help them, maybe to destroy them. It wasn't clear, but ultimately it came down to blows. A car chase, or at least part car chase, part like horse riding thing through the streets of London. It came to a head in the middle of Tottenham Court Road, and Loki still snatched away from truly discovering the film that they sort of barely remember making, maybe in a different reality. The emotional height of that conflict managed to draw them out of their stupor. Their heart rate reached beyond their maximum and they returned to normal for now. And so things have maybe gone back to ordinary things again. Vox Populi is still out there. We do know their true identity, but I won't tell all of y'all who are listening in, spoilers. But for now, we should get excited for an entirely different piece of cinema, as there is whoops and cheers and applause as people who have appeared in this Autumn Indie Film Festival are starting to walk down the South Bank towards the BFI in a kind of pageantry kind of way. Not all of them are into that kind of pomp and circumstance, but they're trying to politely wave and show everybody a good time. So we're going to go around round the table a little bit and have you all invent another guy for me. Tell me about a person who is going to be attending this Autumn Film Festival as either an actor, director, or writer. And we can yes and together. You don't need to build it all yourself. But yeah, Ruben, go for it.
I'd like to introduce famous film director Hollandaise Nice Batch, culinary mastermind, as well as cinematic visionary who has created a camera technique known as food.
Mr.
Food.
Ooh, Yes, I could see that. Okay, I can build on that. It's called the citrus gaze, leaning on the idea of the male gaze and the queer gaze and things. The citrus gaze is literally using a lens cap on the actual lens, like a different partition that is filled with fruit juice that will cause a color grading and sloshiness to the
Ooh.
films that are being shot. And there is a bunch of very complex, deep, kind of like English language A level. Or English literature A level descriptions of the choice of fruit juice and the tone of the scene.
Mhm.
You know, that one breakup scene that was done with lychee juice in particular was just like, well, you know, you had to
Broke.
you need to read the
Well,
original text to understand.
it's like at screenings they give you the script, and if you don't read it, they quiz you afterwards. You get docked.
Oh, there's a pop quiz afterwards. I love that. Okay, so they've got the citrus gaze. I know lychee is not a citrus. I didn't name it. He did. Uh, you know, it was
Ooh.
initially working in the grapefruit over, but he's been branching out. You know, been trying new
No,
things.
it's more about how you use the juice
Mhm.
instead of how you classify the juices. You see.
Yeah, excellent, beautiful. Quizzed on the movie, love that. What does Hollandaise Nice Batch look like?
Is that a question for me or for just the
For the
table?
table,
Yeah.
it's open.
I'm happy to take this one.
Go for it.
So Hollandaise Nice Batch is going to be the opposite of what you'd consider a good hollandaise sauce is. He is very slimlined, tall, wiry, completely devoid of hair on his head, but he has this immense mustache, the type that kind of, you know, like those walrus ones that kind of goes
Mm-hmm.
out and like twirls. Yeah, but it's not just two. Oh no, he's got six, each getting smaller. So it's like this staggered mustache, the type you'd
Oh,
see at the mustache championships. Every one
like
of those
multiple
ones.
sets of
Love
curls, like a
that.
little,
Absolutely.
like an
And
insect on his face.
for sure, and it's so symmetrical that it's giving uncanny valley. And this guy has medium toned brown skin, quite striking bone structure to die for, and piercing gray eyes.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And his name, Hollandaise Nice Batch.
Yeah. Okay, I love this. Like, you know, we see Hollandaise Nice Batch now. It's like it's like a shoes to eyeline shot, and it like keeps going. This man is tall, and then there is the kind of surprise of seeing the tail end of a mustache, and as we keep going, there's more and more of it as it goes up until we see the full measure of this man as he twiddles one of them. And we get in the lower third, like it's a news report, Hollandaise Nice Batch, inventor of the citrus gaze. Okay. Chucky, give me a person who's attending this show. Who's
There is Melford actor.
mhm.
She is like this very kind of bubbly, like larger woman, like the kind of person who would just give you like the best hug of your life, like very like a mum figure. However, despite this like present kind of body type,
Mhm.
she is giving like a very stern, very locked in look. She is a method actor, and she
Mm.
has not broken character in 15 years.
Oh my god.
No one knows the real Mel because
Mhm.
she is always so deep in character that like it's like she is playing a character. Every new movie is her last character playing another character on top of that. She
Mhm.
is 17 layers deep in film method acting, and she has no idea how to stop at this point.
Melford is often typecast in a particular role in movies. You know, when you get Jack Black in a movie, he's only ever really cast for a specific type of role. They don't give him range for the things they cast him in, probably for the best. He's a good actor. I don't want to see him do anything serious. It would be incredibly strange. Ruben, what kind of character role is Melford continually typecast as?
I want to say femme fatales when they're narratively unwelcome.
And as a result, we see her on this not quite red carpet moving towards the BL5. And she's in this like very drapey, backless black dress. As the light catches it, it has kind of like it's like a velvety material, and it kind of has a bit of a green reflect to it, as the kind of like sodium lamps that they pass under as they move their way towards the BFI. It looks like her necklace and fashion tape is the only thing that's holding this thing up, but it is hanging off her incredibly well. She looks one way at an audience of people. 3 people of various genders all have heart attacks and are very carefully kind of like EMTs have been placed on. They've been briefed. The health and safety and the recce was already done, and they knew that this would happen, so they had people on deck to be able to handle anybody who has a heart attack upon seeing Melford actor. Excellent.
They have a defibrillator specifically labeled for her. Like, it just goes around after her visits places.
Tendai, who's a third person who's on this not quite red carpet?
Ooh, not quite on the red carpet would be Marine Clout. So this person is they think quite highly of themselves. And they carry themselves with such an air. Their clothes always seem starched. Like, who still starches their clothes? They do. And they never smile. Super severe, super harsh, but also a badass. Like, they look so cool, but you're never quite sure exactly what they're doing and who they're with.
Okay, love that. Since we have a director and an actor, I think Marine is going to be a writer. So, Chucky, what kind of genre does Marine work in?
So Marine has quite a unusual understanding of genres and refuses to write anything that is in just one genre. And so has recently been on a hit of combining like sci-fi with zombie movies. And it's been a massive hit. Like Cyber Fungus 2077 is one of the best things she has ever made. It is incredible.
Best sex scene too.
It's like Marvel's Eternals though, where the sex scene is like completely unrelated to the rest of the movie. It's just there and it's like very well directed, and then it's back to zombies.
They took the kind of like a online discourse about like, well, I hate it when there's like sex in a TV show or movie for just like no reason, and there's no reason for it to be there. And Marin was like, bet this is going to be the most pointless sex scene in any piece of media you have ever watched, but it will be art.
Beautiful. Life-changing.
And Marine has been working since the 90s. Marine's been out there putting out videos, even when it was kind of like, you know, when they're not from the UK. They're an international artist. I want to say they are from Tunisia. And in a similar way to the early era of like anime, where you wouldn't really be able to obtain it outside of Japan, except for just VHSs that people very dedicatedly copied and sometimes like baked in subtitles for to then distribute. Marine's work has only really made it to the UK via VHS prior to this kind of like international rediscovery. They've been crushing it in their neck of the woods for quite a while, but it's only recently that they've become an international star. Maybe a bit insulting to her to be considered part of an indie festival, but hey. When you're not part of A21, you're not that level of big indie yet, I guess. But there would be somebody in our kind of party that would be fascinated to go and see this illustrious 90s writer. But unfortunately, he's not here because he, alongside the rest of her group, are in the middle of getting the last bits and pieces they need ready for their outfit, because you cannot be seen on a movie premiere night on the South Bank unless you are looking correct. So the camera moves away from outside of the BFI, not too far away, to a very large flagship makeup store called Obsidian. We've seen Obsidian before, described in its kind of like jet black cladding of an unknown material on its outside, but only on the ground floor because the rest of it is a registered building and they did not get permission to reclad all of that. But you can kind of see inside there is a kind of stark white and chrome kind of set. It almost feels like stepping into like a cold room in a restaurant. Like there is a cold air, almost a dry ice that emerges from the door to Obsidian as the kind of like automatic doors open and the camera goes inside to see the bustling people inside. And we see our currently 3 heroes for today getting the last thing that they need for their look. And it can be makeup, it can be an accessory, it can be fragrance. They cater to a wide range of genders, so they will be something for each of you. What you getting?
So I feel like Loki is probably already like mostly dressed, wearing like the most glamorous outfits you ever seen them wear. They've got like arm warmers that are made out of slinkies. And it's giving like drag race 90s, like jean dress with jeggings, because of course. And then like shoulder pads made out of like vinyl records. Yeah, and then they'd have their shutter shades on as well.
Oh my god!
Just layering.
Oh my god!
So they would walk over to the front and just be like, "Hey there, do you have any self-discovery fragrance in at the moment?"
The I guess employees of Obsidian also being quite severe, sharp in a literal sense. I think some of the people that manage to have the really long like dagger press-ons and can still type and use phones, witchcraft. But as we see the cashier or like stayed like a shop floor assistant kind of like pose and kind of run a finger underneath their chin, there is a sound effect of like a knife being sharpened alongside of it. Just diegetically even, like you can feel it in your soul that should be there. Self-discovery, you say? Are you ascending or descending today?
What do you mean by that?
Well, when people have breakthroughs, it's either, to ascend or descend. So what is it today?
Which do you think would go best in my outfit? Because I've had a bit of a breakdown recently, but I'm hoping for a bit of a break up now.
the hand, if you're okay with in narrative with the clerk touching you, they move one of the very pointy press-on nails to one of your vinyl records and runs it in a groove, and we get a yeah. Well, I see. If you're on the up and up, it is then. An elevating self-discovery is on aisle 6 this way. And there is that kind of like dolly shot where the perspective of the room kind of shifts as the camera moves, and you see like aisle 6. And it looks like some like a tie between kind of like molecular gastronomy and like the ice cream factory at Pizza Hut. It's like so many like cranks and gears and bubbling vials, and a very clean rack of brightly colored like perfume bottles. And shall I lead you to finding your self-discovery?
Well, I guess that kind of defeats the point, doesn't it? If is it still self-discovery if it's discovered by you?
They smile. We wouldn't have sold it to you if you hadn't said that.
Oh.
And there
I
is a
see.
gesture towards the aisle, and you are left to go find your self-discovery fragrance.
I love a product that comes with a
That's
riddle.
so good.
Damn.
That's so good.
As we move to Terea. What's Terea getting?
This is also a boutique, right? So for clothing, I would like.
I don't think it has full outfits, but it definitely has accessories.
Right. I would like Roombi to help me, like sort of like adjust my outfit to. I have a very specific outfit in mind, and it is one worn by Tilda Swinton in Orlando, on the cover.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I just want to be fitted into that as Nancy.
Very rococo.
Yeah,
Okay.
Mhm.
great
This
movie,
is
by
a
the way.
departure for Terea.
Absolutely.
Ooh. Love
I think.
it.
Okay, so the ruffles is getting to me. I need. Can I breathe? Can I still breathe? I don't think I can breathe.
It's okay. We will take out a couple of stitches and you should be fine.
Okay.
Ruby is going to like pull a like seam ripper out of their hair and just like go at some of the stitches and be like, how's that?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. This is great movie, great outfit. I just thank you for helping me. This is weird. I'm feeling a little weird about this, but thank you.
Of course. What's making you feel weird? Maybe I can help.
It's I mean, I don't normally wear stuff like this. I just wear my hoodie and that's it. And I don't really get to dress up, I guess.
It's natural to feel a bit at odds when you're not in your personal uniform, as I like to call it. But there's a reason you chose this, Toya. Like, what about this outfit made you think this is what I want to wear?
You know what? Have you seen the movie?
Yes, I have.
I haven't.
The costuming is phenomenal.
Mm-hmm. I want to try that. Go across the boundary. Not be a tough lad anymore. Just once.
Okay. Nice. Okay, so you want to be a little soft, a little bougie.
After what we've been through, I think I can't do the action hero thing anymore. I need a little softness.
Well, you can be a new type of action hero. You can be soft, but you also can be an action hero. They're not mutually exclusive.
Sorry, as I think about that. and also dresses really weird but well.
Oh yeah,
I'm in.
always.
I'm in.
Oh, of course. Listen, I have so many samples back in the studio. You need to come over and help yourself to that. But honestly, you look amazing. And Rumbi's gonna step back and be like, make the little kind of twirl motion, and they're gonna start playing like some JoJo Bizarre intro just to get you hyped up with that. Like, yes, JoJo pose. That's perfect. Yes.
Absolutely.
You like this for a reason.
But Rumbi, you spent so much time assisting your friends getting ready. You still need to get what you need from here. You haven't managed to get it yet.
So Rumbi is going to be walking up and down through the aisles because they're used to the store, and they're going to be looking for accessories. So their ears are very heavily pierced, but they want to have a series of like looping chains going from piercing to piercing, but each of them needs to have like a bit of a drop to them with a little something, maybe a star, a moon. They're kind of going for a bit of a celestial vibe, but not giving like, they want to give planet.
Cool.
Like rings, all of that.
I see. You know how right now I cannot remember the name of the brand. I think it might be Pandora. They do like the charm bracelets, and you can buy all the individual charms. There is
You
like
add on to them, yeah.
There's an Obsidian brand version of that, but like everything about Obsidian, it's very heavily gate kept. But in kind of a literal sense, there are a number on maybe like the third floor of this building, where all the kind of like jewelry and especially charm row, as it's described. It's a long row of all different types of decorations that you could think of to put on charms, on like earrings, on necklaces, on bracelets. But there are locked doors, glass, so you can still see down the aisle, every couple of feet. So you can only get things that you have clearance for.
Interesting.
There is a concierge that is standing in front of Charm Row, and Ms. Karanga, will you be shopping on Charm Row today?
I will. Yes, quite a bit.
Then, as per standard procedure, I would love to see your battle badges. You have to have reached battle rank level 9 for what you're looking for today. You hadn't vocalized what you were looking for. He somehow knows.
Oh, battle badge 9, you say? Rumbi is going to just reach into, it looks like they're reaching into the seam of their trousers, and they're just going to like pull out a series of badges. Like, does this suffice?
There is he's wearing tiny pince-nez glasses. He like nudges them out of the way and stares at you. Battle rank 13. Well, you have been busy, Ms. Karanga.
It's hard to kill a bad thing.
I don't know whether they survived, though. And he takes your strip of badge ranks and swipes them against the side of the door, and you see them all the way up to the section that you need and no further. You have clearance for beyond it, but you need a specific clearance for what you need today. As you walk past some people who are already shopping, somebody who has been looking at the really cute cat charms that are a rank above their own clearance, see the door open, and they go to move for it, and a red dot lands somewhere on their chest, and they stop.
Citizen, halt.
You really do not want to play with the security here.
I'll get my rank up one day. You'll see.
Oh, of course. I don't doubt you for a second.
In a very kind of they don't proceed past, but you get like a shonen protagonist who has lost their first tournament kind of energy off this kid, clearly on the cusp of getting to the rank for these charms and not quite getting it this time. But hey, battle season isn't until next month. They're gonna have time to prepare.
Scrubs over.
Kids.
With your astrological, your planetary charms, looking like an astrolabe across one ear, you have your pieces, and you all step out of. We see the external shot to Obsidian again as the double doors kind of open, and we see the three of you posed, ready to join the BFI. You are late, just on the cusp of fashionably. Some of the big names have already walked past. You've missed out on Hollandaise. Melford took quite a while to get to the BFI. After all, she's stopped quite a lot by people for interview opportunities and photographs. Those who have the constitution to do so, at the very least. And unfortunately, we see it look up and down the road. Whether Loki was looking for her specifically, or whether it is coincidence, Marine is nowhere to be seen.
Oh, dang it! I think we missed all the interesting ones.
The interesting ones are not always that interesting. I'm sure Marine is around here
my
somewhere.
laser disc signed.
It's really tough to walk in these high heels.
Just focus, pull in the core. From the core, lead with the hips. Do not walk like a pony.
I laugh because I've been there. Shit's difficult.
Everybody has a wee Bambi moment. Everyone.
Loki would see the struggling with the heels, and then just as a point, get back on their skateboard and like skate with the heels on slowly alongside. She's like, I don't know what all the fuss is about.
Of course you don't. This is my first time. Listen, why do people do this? I need to know.
Because it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, it's extravagant. And then when you take off the shoes at the end of a long evening, the feeling is, it's one of the best feelings in the world.
It hurts so bad.
Oh, it does. And your feet will go numb after some time. And you'll be fine. When we're sitting down, when you go to the bathroom, take your shoes off for a bit, put them back in, never step on the dirty floor. But you'll learn these tricks over time, and you are going to be dressing more creatively in the future, so you'll have plenty of practice.
And if you really can't keep them on, you could always hop on the board for a little bit. I'll walk.
Really? I can go on board.
I feel like I've been a bit overprotective of some of this stuff lately, so if you wish to try it out, just don't wipe out. It might be a bit embarrassing on the carpet.
I can cry stare better than you. You know that.
It flashes through Loki. You have like the microsecond of an impulse. Like the skate park is just down the road. We can go. We can go right now.
Well, since we missed Mel and Marine, I suppose I could work on that trick again. What was it called? The
Innsmouth grind.
The Innsmouth grind. Say, Terea, would you like to do a two-person trick with me?
Let's go.
Oh, no? Okay.
I mean, we could.
I like this. As you prepare to like turn heel, quite literally, and make your way back down the south bank again towards, there is a kind of like a scoff sound, and it's hard to scoff loudly, but you hear it. That kind of sound. And you turn and you see this very severe looking woman. Very, very straight hair and a kind of dyed wine red bob. A kind of like pinstripe suit with it's proportionized, so it's a bolero jacket and high-waisted trousers, so it makes her legs look even longer and her torso even shorter. She is carrying a long cigarette holder with a vape jammed in the end.
Ruined it.
Can we help you?
And as you turn, you notice that this is somebody who is standing on the not quite a red carpet. I don't know if I can be helped by people who would be turning away from my talent.
And what talent is that?
There is a quirk of eyebrow as she makes contact with you through the shades, and you recognize her. You know her as Veronica Houndstooth. She is new to the scene, but she is already causing waves. Her movies have a 72% completion rate, insofar as insofar as I guess 28% of the people that watch her movies for one reason or another are unable to finish watching them. It ranges as to why. Some of them get up and leave. Some of them are called away for important matters. Some of them have accidents occur. It takes a person of a strong stomach and a strong heart to survive my movies. So I can understand why you turn away.
No, it's just I think if you're not on VHS, I don't want to see it.
A woman who appreciates the classics. Nice. Well, unfortunately, while I've shot the thing I'm demonstrating today on classic 5mm, I do not know films in this level of detail. Please do not at me about my factual accuracy.
5 mil? That's tiny. I love it. Little tiny film.
I wanted to go for old, not tiny, but that's fine. While I have shot my film on analog, we'll take the line again. I'll do a... She looks to the camera. I'll do a clean take of that. While I have shot tonight's delightful piece of storytelling on analog, I'm afraid there hasn't been a VHS release. There's a wry smile.
Say.
No VHS manufacturing company has been able to handle my work.
Interesting. Well, I'd love to try and be the first to make one on tape.
You seem to be somebody who's into movies.
Into? More like they're my life.
I was going to say, like, you're kind of a freak with it.
Yes.
And there's a smile, like, it reads as, like a freak with it, open brackets, affectionate, close brackets.
Yeah. Look, he's just like someone who matches my freak. Very exciting to see.
You both immediately start twerking. I would
Still
love
on the
you
skateboard as well.
I would love for you to roll your heart rate, Loki,
Okay.
to vibe with Veronica Houndstooth about your freak nature for movies. It's not high. I think this is 2 hits.
Okay.
She's a hard person to impress, but she's interested in being impressed by you.
I am gonna add my video store clerk bonus though, just
Absolutely.
in case.
Mhm.
Yeah. Can I use the heartstring?
Interesting. So,
I got one success.
okay. So currently, you do have two heartstrings as our character relationships, and this is. Thank you for bringing this up because this was the thing I was going to bring up anyway. Your heartstring with Rimby is currently frayed. You used it to kind of push yourself before. While Heartbroken, it broke. It came up against you in a karmic way, and now it needs to be repaired by spending quality time with her. However, you do have a second heartstring with the
Yeah.
mysterious guy Heimdall, who is somebody you have seen. You don't even know that his name is Heimdall. You've just seen him on the tube every day, and his outfits are always phenomenal. And it's the highlight of your day. So if you give me a tiny flashback talking about how your memory of the mysterious guy on the tube gives you the courage to get that extra hit, then yeah.
Yeah. So I think back to this morning on the commute down to Waterloo Station to get down to Obsidian and get ready for this event. And they were wearing the most beautiful like suit made out of like celluloid film.
Mm.
And clearly like they know fashion, and as someone who appreciates tape, they are the one person who makes me think that maybe film is just as good,
Mm.
which is especially coming up now.
And that comes to mind. You understand that your passions are not exactly the same, but there is a link to how this woman is operating, and she. Well, I think you'll get a kick out of proceedings. I hope you come to see my movie.
I think I may just have to, if my friends can handle it too.
I thought we're going to the skate park.
Is there time for a little skate before your film starts?
Not if you also want to get popcorn and drink before starting. Although, not everyone is able to eat and watch my movies.
Well,
What do you think about this proceeding? What do you think about this woman, Rimby?
Rumbi is just kind of like staring, just watching this interaction as in like, is this? Are they really having like pillow talk over film like right now? Right in front of me on the sweat carpet, because like this probably a side they haven't seen of Loki, so they're very confused right now. They're like,
Like event organizers have tried to come up and politely get her to move on because they all need to get inside the building, and she looks back at one of them and they're like, "Oh, I'm so sorry," and just continue walking. I'll leave you to it.
oh my god.
I'm going to like give a scan of the outfit
Mhm.
and say, I know someone behind the concession stand. I'll give them a test when we're on our way back from the skate park.
All right. I suppose it's best to work up your heart rate before seeing a thrilling movie.
I do love a good thriller.
Speaking of, would you like to increase, decrease, or keep your heart rate the same, Loki?
Oh, yes, increase.
Because this is the start of a new session, everybody's heart rates have reset to 5. And so we move to the skate park. You managed to go and find somebody who's willing to loan you a board, Torreya,
Hell yeah.
as you both attempt. Now, to remind
Indeed,
the
let's
nature
go.
of the Innsmouth grind, it is essentially over the lip of kind of like a canal or
The best
sluiceway. So messing up the trick could put you into essentially like muddy silt water. You look down at this kind of like underpass of salt water and consider.
Are you
Terea, you still down? I ask as the GM. You still down for this?
Absolutely.
um,
All right.
Sink or swim
maybe
or fly.
maybe do you want to give me like your like the top layer of your outfit just in case, you know?
I try to get the ruffles off. No. Okay, take my jacket. Let's do this.
Okay.
All right.
I'm gonna take the jacket, fold it over my arm like a butler.
Mhm.
Just stand there.
We're going to be playing this in an
Here.
interesting way. In this instance, I want both, because it's a two-person trick we've established, I want both Loki and Terea to roll. I'm not going to give you hits. Instead, I want to see whether you match the same number of hits.
Do we match freak on
Do we match?
screen?
Mm.
Yeah.
How many?
Okay.
The further off you are in terms of how bad the trick is going to go.
I think we need to match dice pools first.
Yeah. Oh, that's gonna be tricky though, because I'm on a even number now, and you're on an odd number.
Right. Do I?
So
I can.
you're probably going to have to leave some of it up to fate, but yeah, you can use some of your aspects to go and add 2 dice to your pool. Both of you can.
I guess the question, I'm trying to work out the maths of if it's better to have more dice with the chance of getting more hits, because then there's a higher chance of us both getting hits. Or
Friend,
if
I
it's
made
better
this
to
up
just
in the moment.
leave
I
it
do not know the
as-
maths behind how likely
No,
this is
yeah.
to happen.
I think we should go for like bump up to 7, and then let it go from there.
As in, if you bump up to 7, do you want me to bump up to 8 or just stay at 6?
No, we both do 7.
You can't. There is
Oh,
no
yeah,
way of
that's the
adding in
problem.
a single die to your pool unless you roll and
Wait.
change your heart rate. So
Not, but I mean like using aspects too. So
yes,
like
but
bump
aspects
up.
only add 2, not 1. So
Oh,
Yeah, that's what I was saying. The problem is because
Right.
you're on odds and I'm on evens,
Okay.
so we cannot sync the number.
It's this isn't going to be, if this goes even if this goes horribly wrong, I'm not going to punish you too hard. I just want to see how this goes.
Mhm.
So please
Okay.
do, unless you do genuinely want to add an aspect to this, just roll your heart rate and let me know how many successes you both get.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm happy to just roll my heart rate.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Rolling just my heart rate.
Right, 3, 2,
2,
1,
1.
let's go.
Who goes first? Or do you say at the same time? 3,
No, Terea.
2.
No, that'd be terrible for audio. Terea, how many hits?
2 hits.
Okay.
Oh, I got 3.
Wait, I heartstring.
You're gonna burn a heartstring on this?
Yeah,
Yes.
let's go.
Okay, absolutely. So, what heartstring are you spending here?
I have a heartstring with Colin, but I'm not gonna just bury the characters because they're not around. No, this is on top.
It's more just to expend it in a way that you're thinking about it and it motivates you, but to restore it, you need to spend time with them. It's not like you're breaking the relationship because you're not currently heartbroken.
I'm not
It's
heartbroken.
just pushing you along. So you can use Colin for this if you wanted to, or
I
Colin
see the
rather,
road
for this.
open in the air. I see the pathways. I see the maps, and I think I sort of like launch myself in a way that at great potential cost to myself, this trick will succeed.
Yeah. You know how like athletes kind of visualize success, and that's part of the way that they kind of do image training, I guess. You for a moment see the grinding pathway as the highway, proper kind of like synthwave outrun kind of vibe. And you picture Colm's like taxi cab driving along the route that you need to take along this to be able to be in perfect balance. And we see this happen. We see the transfer of Loki kick flipping aboard to you Toreo, as you land on that, as then Loki gets on the second board and rides in sync with you along either side of the kind of canal, and then you both lean in to press your palms together as then you push against each other and the ground as you make your way down the side of it. The wind whistling aerodynamically off the vinyl shoulder pads, the kind of various petticoats being caught up in the breeze. Torreya. This would be a difficult thing to film. Both of your outfits would definitely get in the way of the shot. But in this particular instance, you do land the trick and don't ruin your outfits.
As we're holding hands, just like eye contact, and I go, I'm here for you, but also understand I have a job.
I think I understand that now.
Yes, this feels so terrible, but also woo.
As you complete the trick, you kind of look up in a kind of way, and there's nobody really here. The person who loaned you the board is here, because most people are trying to see the celebrities down the way, so very few people saw you do that aside from the skater who was already here in Nuremberg. But hey, you both know that you managed to do the trick.
He's like, great job, dude.
Can I retrospectively have like recorded that on my phone, just on the slide?
Sure. Mm-hmm.
I like to think
Okay.
that Loki would have given you like a cassette tape camera out of their bag of 90s things and be like, get on this.
Okay, yeah, no, then I would have high-keyed the recording on this little recorder.
We see a glimpse into the future of trying to use a VHS camcorder in a nighttime scene without appropriate lighting. Barely watchable. Back to the... You want to know that. You want to know that.
It's gonna look so good.
If you've ever tried to use a Polaroid camera at night, waste of time.
Yeah, I have a load of photos from when I
Absolutely.
went to a festival and I was using my film camera and I looked at them afterwards. It's just black.
It's like I don't know what I expected, but I have this is of a generation before me. How was I supposed to know? But satisfied and unmuddied, you make your way to the BFI once again. At this point, most people have filtered inside for their particular showing, so the streets are now much emptier. And in the intervening period of time, somebody has replaced the timetable, or at least given the full event timetable. There was previously some advanced showings of some of the films before, but now the full display of things are available. You take a look to go and try and find Veronica Houndtooth's movie. She did not proffer to see what it was. She did not proffer the name of it, and you did not ask. But as you look in the list and scroll down, you see that the movie she offered for the festival is called The Lengths You Go to Save the People You Love.
Huh. Hmm. Oh.
For
finally
Ruby and
finished that
Torreya,
film.
that doesn't mean anything to you. For Loki, however.
Long ass name.
I think I tried to watch this before, but I wasn't in the right my place of mind. Maybe now and not alone, I'd be able to finish it.
Yeah.
You think about it. Yeah, true to type. You didn't finish the movie. I guess you're part of the 27%.
Let's go watch it. We got your back.
Yeah.
Is it
Just
like
be warned, it's a bit depersonalization-y. Bit weird.
Okay.
Is it French?
Same vibe, yeah.
Oh, okay.
You pass by the concession stand. True to Ruby's mention, there are already snacks and tickets waiting for you. You called ahead. You gave the writer, you gave the director name, and they're like, "Oh, I know what movie that is." So at the time, it wasn't specifically highlighted to you, and you make your way in, and we see at least snippets of the same movie that we saw in our session prior, entirely in black and white, and instances of when people are close to death, when they are 10 minutes away from dying. They appear in full color as we follow a very tense urban cowboy story of somebody trying to save people and going lengths to doing so. And we see people in the background and random characters that they're talking to turning into color, which the protagonist does not seem to notice, and we understand the context of. And then as people who are emotionally tied to him start turning into color, and then we know as an audience that signifies that their end is soon at hand in real time, and the tension that comes there. And exactly the same as before, in a weird moment, maybe there's like a shift in the audio, there's like a panning from left to right, or like a change in pressure in the room that makes your ears pop in a way. But all of you, in exactly the same way as before, feel suddenly aware of yourselves. You are no longer drawn into experiencing the movie outside of yourself, but you are suddenly aware of your physicality. Rumbi and Torea, you look down at yourselves and notice that you are in color.
I'd look at everyone else.
Is this a part of the movie?
And as that kind of tension subsides, like, oh, does this mean that I am about to die? And then you realize that, well, yeah, I'm real. I'm in real life. Of course I'm going to be in color. That's when the movie starts to fall apart in exactly the same way as before. And Loki braces for it this time, actually. And Loki, you don't have to roll for this, but I want Rumbi and actually, I mean, even though it's not a standard roll, Loki and Terrea, would you like to change your heart rates off the back of successfully completing that check?
Yeah, I'll go up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going down.
Okay.
Interesting.
Loki has seen this before and braces for it, but there is a penetrating feeling, like the dazzling array of light and sound, the sensory overload that this movie is providing feels like it's boring into you, like it's trying to get in there behind your eyes. Both of you roll a heart rate for me, trying to beat, and I do believe that last time I did set that at 3, so I'm going to set it at 3 again.
Love my low heart rate. Can I use aspects or?
You can.
Okay, fantastic.
I wish I'd thought about aspects before I roll.
I would like to use my knowledge of action cinema to ground myself in a different kind of movie logic and escape what's going on here.
Makes perfect sense to me.
3 hits.
Okay. Also, let me know how many ones you got.
0.
So I got 2 hits and 3 ones.
Look, you're good. You've braced for this. You don't need to roll. So
okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
cool. This has happened to you before, so you're now immune.
Ruby, I was
how
so
did you
worried.
do?
I was like, that's too many ones.
So I got 2 hits, and yeah, I didn't get any ones either.
Okay. Are you happy with 2 hits? Would you like to expend one of your heartstrings to get a 3rd hit, or are you happy with the consequences?
I don't like how we're all using our heartstrings so early.
Actually, yeah, I want to use my heartstring with my ex-boss. Alison
Absolutely. Alison Olivia. Okay. Give me a little flashback to Alison Olivia and the relationship you two had and how it is relevant to helping you weather this particular situation.
So Alison would have been quite a like micromanager would have been kind
Mm,
as a descriptor for her. She was like, she was almost like just death and demise breathing down your neck anytime you were on the floor, anytime you were working with somebody.
mhm,
They always constantly undermined you, and you I learned to grow thick skin working with her,
mhm.
but also learned how to be a better person working with her. So feeling like I'm gonna die, that was a regular Tuesday for me working
Mm.
underneath her. So I'm like, okay, cool.
We see kind of a very the bear style sequence of you working while she is standing next to you and just insulting you directly into your ear while you're trying to work to a deadline at speed.
I'm like, I love this song. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay, so you both get full successes. Would you like to raise, lower, or keep your heart rate the same upon succeeding?
Raise it, please.
Okay, marvelous. Absolutely. So in this particular instance, I guess to kind of justify the circumstances here, as Rumbi sees this particular assault, your heart rate raises in a kind of like, oh, I've weathered this before. This assault is nothing, but it's still something that you have to guard yourself against. Like, it gets your hackles up, having to even think of that terrible boss to have to weather this scenario, and it raises your heart rate. Whereas, how is Terea feeling? Sorry. How is Terea feeling in terms of now you're calming yourself down, you're making yourself less emotional to try and weather the circumstance? What does that look like? How does that feel like?
I think straight up he doesn't get it.
Mm.
The point of the movie just kind of like, oh wow, the scene is kind of like that one action scene in the other, sort of like in Fast Cars and Inside Bars 7. I like that.
Mhm.
Wait, I missed something. Shit, what's going on? Just looking around in panic. Like, what did I
Mhm,
miss?
mhm. And the audience feels a bit unsettled here. Like when it's a comedy, people are laughing. When it's a horror movie, you hear somebody like in the background gasping and so on. And there's just general murmuring going on. And it doesn't feel like it's to people. It feels like it's they're individually mumbling to themselves.
Can I tune in? Is there something to the mumbling?
Sure. Um Yeah, it's very mantra, it's very repetitive, in a kind of like there is a don't go behind that door. Don't go through that door. Don't go through that door. Don't go through that door. And then there's another person that's like, only I can save them, only I can save them, only I can save them, only I can save them. And it's another is like, behind me isn't he? He's behind me isn't he? He's behind me isn't he? He's behind me isn't he? And it's these are all like movie
Staples, yeah.
cliches, platitudes, and people start to get up.
The same ones that are muttering, or randomly?
An assortment of people are getting up from their seats and preparing to leave.
Do I see Houndtooth anywhere in the crowd?
You get up, and nobody seems, if you stood up in the middle of a movie, like just stood up and started looking around, people are like, what the fuck are you doing? Sit down. And nobody admonishes you, and that's weird. You do not see Veronica there.
Okay. I tap Loki. Like, something's going on. The people are just zombieing out.
Don't be part of the 28%.
No,
Come on,
I'm
we gotta
not.
finish this.
Listen. I'm finishing this movie. I just don't get it. But what are these people doing?
Shh, I'm listening. I can't read the subtitles when you're talking.
Okay, just
It's
cross
too loud
arms.
for me to read.
Eventually, one of the people who is mumbling and not too far away from you is this is a stick up, this is a stick up, this is a stick up, and jumps up from his chair, is holding a bottle of like soda in one hand and his like smartphone in the other, like they're twin pistols, goes to the audience. This is a stick up. Hands up.
This is why I hate modern technology.
Sit down.
It's not a stick up. We're just in the screening.
And he, in the kind of like panicked thing, goes like, "Oh, it's the feds!" And he gestures with the bottle of soda as if he was firing a gun, and no bullet manifests, but like a squib is what they call it in like movies when you have like a blood pack
Yeah.
on you.
Mhm.
One goes off on your chest, Terrea, and you are sent flying.
Holy fuck. Okay. Does it hurt? Well, the squib, but
The squib going off doesn't hurt. You being flung physically
Yeah.
backwards and spidering into maybe one of the seats behind you is uncomfortable. It hurts. There's no health in this game, so that kind of thing isn't tracked. But yeah, you were flung back like you were shot with like a magnum or something. Not
Fucking
that you
hell.
know what being shot with a gun would be like, but you've seen movies.
I wanna sort of. Oh god.
No, I was gonna say Ruby is just gonna be like stand up and be like, "Hey, what the fuck are you doing?" And and kick this person, like launch at them both feet, like chest.
Mm-hmm.
Colm
Get
may
them
not be with
down.
us physically, but Colm is definitely here in
In
spirit.
spirit.
Okay, go roll your heart rate to just drop kick this man.
Yes.
Just ride
Alrighty.
and kick this guy.
Okay, so I've got 6 now.
2 hits to beat. Match will be
2 6s
beautiful.
and no 1s.
Okay. Yeah, you do it. You and it doesn't make sense in terms of like the physics momentum of the thing. Drop kicks like this work with momentum for you to do a run up or fall or jump off a higher platform. And the fact that you do the kick and it lands perfectly and you land perfectly, and then you think about it and realize that that would be physically impossible unless there was some kind of editing cut to make it work. Like in a bad editing in like Power Rangers where you see somebody be like, huh, and there is a cut and a second person being like impacted. It feels like that. You think about the physics that would have required and it was disorienting. A woman scuttles over her chair backwards and is kind of like, "You're cursed, you're cursed, you're cursed, you're..." As she starts like backwards ring the grudge walking over chairs towards the 3 of you.
I want to jump up on like the seat, sort of like the back seats, and use them as sort of like jump to the next rows, and summon my giant wrench and just get that away.
Go roll your heart rate. That's two hits again to try and meet or beat.
Yeah.
If you can use the aspect of your wrench for an additional 2, but I don't think you'll need it. Or you might need it. Your heart rate is quite low, actually, huh?
Yeah, I'm at 3, so I'm going to use my my wrench. Absolutely. I don't like this, Nathan. So you are forcing my hand here.
Yeah.
That's 3 successes, but 1-1.
Okay. So you do it. So let's talk about what that looks like. So you what, like golf swing with the giant wrench and center flying?
It's I'm imagining sort of like a fast, like 3 sort of Ocean's 11 cuts, like jump on seat, wrench in hand, with sort of like in sort of like the curve of the wrench, you see the monster scuttling towards the camera. And then the third one is just like after hearing like the Smash Brothers like baseball sound, it's like flying away.
She ragdolls into the opposite wall and slides down. Loki, you realize that clearly something is going on here. The fact that you were able to strike that effect of hitting a person across the room, a human being, not pulse, into a wall and it doesn't look like she's died. There's no blood, but it was definitely a very loud impact. Loki, you realize you three are in a movie again.
Does my heart rate change?
Yes. How would you like to change your heart rate?
Ooh.
Okay. You also realize that you just struck a person, not pulse, in doing so. And there is a weird energy around that. You've never had to use your pulse fighting powers on just an ordinary civilian before, and that feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Loki, you realizing that you're in a movie again raises your heart rate by 1.
Yeah. Oh, it raised my heart rate. Okay.
There was a 1 rolled, so I get to change somebody's heart rate in the scene.
I see. Okay, so I'm on 8 now. I think Loki's gonna like still trying to watch and like keep track of the movie this whole time. By the way, Loki is very determined not to be part of that 28%. So Loki's like glued to the screen, but then almost like just taking little glances, trying to basically see if Solomon is in the audience anywhere. Because Loki has a sneaking suspicion that Solomon has something to do with this if this is what's going on.
Okay. Noted.
Good.
You don't see Solomon right now, and the movie is coming to an end. We're in the final act now. It's got a Kurosawa style facing down of people as we see the protagonist realize that he's in color. He becomes in color, and for the first time, the movie acknowledges this change in colorization of the characters, and he looks horrified and starts to scream, and then the movie ends. There's no credits. It just is into when a reel of film runs out and goes.
That was a masterpiece. That was beautiful.
Very
Tears.
few
What the fuck
people
was
in the
it?
audience are paying attention to the movie. They're all making their way out of the movie theater, mumbling to themselves. Some of them running, some of them walking, some of them weeping, some of them embracing and spinning with another person as if they have met their true love, but all of them are leaving the venue.
Okay. So we're in the 72% now, but I think we should stop the next 28 from going out. This feels bad.
They're not pulse though.
They're something's got them.
We can't be in the film if the film ended, can we?
But
Unless the ending was part of the film, this feels weird, and I agree with Torea. Like, these people are not behaving as you'd expect.
You make your way back into the concessions area, the lobby of the BFI, and the color grading feels wrong. It's too intense.
Ooh, saturation is up.
Someone got the white balance wrong. Normally this place is quite warm. What is going on?
Where is Houndstooth?
So, how'd you enjoy my movie?
It was very interesting. It really changed my outlook on film, one could say.
I've always thought that storytelling was the best way to sway the hearts of others. Everybody dreams of a superstar life, don't you think?
I don't know about everybody, but I can definitely relate.
Sometimes it's just for 90 minutes at a time. But she's sitting on the concession stand. She's like cross-legged, sitting there and just kind of like continuing to smoke a vape from the long cigarette holder while zombies and action movie stars and noir detectives are just making their way into the streets of London from the film theatre.
So what do you do to get people to react like this? This isn't a normal reaction to a film.
Could you roll your heart rate for me to try and convince her? I think her answer might change depending. It's not high. I only need one hit.
Interesting.
Okie dokie. I have one success.
She's abstract but candid, which I think is probably in the kind of nature for her. My post-production process is a little unusual, I suppose. Some would call it a bit of a ritual. You make the movie, but the movie isn't done until the ritual's done, you know? You got to put your heart and soul into the thing.
Oh. Okay.
You know,
put
you
your
just got
heart-
to... She smiles thinly. Just channel all your emotions in there. Some people say that making art is a way of getting the demons out.
So is that why you can put it on tape? Tape's too pure for your emotion.
I've never tried. I figure a videotape that can do what my work can do is a little cliche.
Loki looks like a little hurt by that.
You know that she's referencing like horror movie, like cursed videotapes, and she doesn't want to be that woman.
Loki's just thinking about the proverbial videotape, and it's just like, oh, okay. Under their breath, they're just like, maybe I can do it on Laserdisc instead.
Either way, though, I think people are really seeing their superstar selves now, right?
Well, I'm not sure how many people's superstar selves are mindless, blood and brain driven zombies.
Some people have
It
poor
seems like-
impulse. Some people have poor impulse control.
It doesn't
28%
seem
of
like they're the only ones.
You see somebody start a street fight outside, and just with one mean hook send somebody into the air and into the Thames.
Whatever spell you've cast, listen, Fairfox, I will never yuck anybody's yum, but personally, doing ritual work on people who don't consent to it, it's a bit shitty. How do we stop this?
She looks at you and gives you a really it's a small smile, and then it just gets kind of wider and wider. She understands what you three are. But it's in the thrill of the chase, isn't it? You can't catch me now. That'd be dull. So, let me put it this way for you then, darling. You can either handle me and let, the people wandering the streets get into all sorts of trouble, or, since you're clearly the heroic kind of sort, make sure nobody dies first. Do you know if that person can swim? She gets up she gets up from sitting on the concierge desk. I'm sure we'll meet again later.
The one time I match freak with someone.
And she walks out the building unless you stop her. But yeah,
It
there is
just-
somebody in the Thames. Somebody is trying to gnaw on somebody else like they're in a zombie movie. It is
Question.
chaos going on outside. Sorry, go ahead.
Mm.
No, I was just gonna ask, did Loki actually say that out loud?
Yeah. Loki's
Okay,
like watching her
Rum-
leave and like this kind of like disappointed. Like, why do all the cool people have to be evil?
Rumbi is 100% going to jump on that and say, well, considering how you were the last time we saw each other, you match each other quite well.
Wow.
And
Wow, I thought we were over this. I thought we could just like pretend that didn't happen and
honey, you
get over
thought
it.
this was over.
I got a
this
new
is-
outfit.
this-
Like I changed everything up. I thought that we could just
n-
leave it in the past.
oh,
I
oh no,
guess I
we
haven't
can't
really apologized, have I?
No, you haven't. And it's not the apology that is needed. We need to talk about this, Loki.
What's there to
What
talk
do you-
about?
It is a it isn't a thing. It is a thing that you need to talk about, and it is important. But you get the impression that Victoria Houndstooth was not lying when she
Mhm.
mentioned that the people who are kind of caught in the nature of film are potentially a danger to themselves and others if left unattended. She's long gone. She walked out casually while you were arguing with each other. But I would love a roll from somebody to try and attempt to at least save the person who's fallen into the Thames. Absolutely.
I'll try.
Okay. Now, because the way that heartbeats and perfect sync works, and obviously in terms of like the lower your heart rate is, the more difficult it is to do big tasks. You can still do small tasks that might set things up for other people. So depending on what you want to try and do, I can give you a target number of hits. If it's something to kind of set somebody up or a small thing that will precede things, the number of hits required won't be as high. So you
sure.
trying to dive in and save a person, swim to them and save them, probably pretty big. But you might be able to do something smaller.
The three of us are going to focus on like the people outside, right?
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
I think
we always do.
I want to create like, because it's you have to climb over something to get in the Thames. I think I want to sort of like lift someone or sort of like swing someone up with like a wrench and help them like do a cool dive back after them.
Yep.
Okay.
I'll take that setup.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
I don't really want to get all the jeans wet. It's quite hard to swim in denim.
That makes perfect sense to me. Terea, go roll your heart rate. You're just trying to get a single hit.
Yep. Single hit.
Beautiful.
Yay.
Love that for you. And I would say that means that the number of hits you would have to do, Rimby, is much lower. So you just need to try and get 2 hits.
Awesome. And I've got 2 hits.
Beautiful. Off the back of that, how would you both like to change your heart rates? Still plummeting. Okay.
Oh, God.
Interesting.
Oh no.
I need
Someone
to know
is
what
a
happens.
really good success.
I think
Ice cream.
okay, to justify this narrative of your again becoming more emotionally withdrawn, this feels like a strange, different kind of duty for you, Terea. It's been your job to deliver packages. It's been your job to fight when emotions build up in the place and turn into the pulse and can harm people. But you've never had to like just straight up save a person in this kind of way before. Is that a responsibility you have to take as well? That's too many responsibilities for a teenager.
I think it's like driving home, especially what Rumbi said, like about Terea to Loki is like has to take care of the family, but that is just like ringing, has to take care, has to do, and it's just like has to go deeper, sort of like withdraw past the emotional walls just to put a handle on it.
And on Rimby's Enter, how are you changing your heart rate, if at all?
Up, please.
Marvelous. And it makes sense as you plunge into the inky water of the Thames. You don't have to go too far. They've managed to tread water and they're sputtering and splashing around, but you manage to use your measuring tape whip to kind of like tether yourself to them and then belay the both of you to the sandy shore again. And they are currently safe and sound. With that particular moment like completed, this narrative beat, it feels like the whirring of a tape of like a film reel has stopped and the lighting has shifted again and the air feels clearer and the field of vision of the place feels more distinct and you can tell you're no longer in a movie.
Thank God.
Solve problems, fix things. That's what we do, I guess.
Question is, where did that come from? She said something about putting her demons into a tape. But if she's not here, is she screening the film somewhere else tonight? Like, that doesn't feel like it. She said she'd see us again. And I don't think she wanted to just twerk on skateboards.
Can I look at the timetable to see if she has another scheduled appearance?
Interestingly, she does not. That was the only slot that she had. Technically, now would be the time for her doing a Q&A, but she's clearly not interested. She's already done what she needed to do in terms of change people's lives, you know. As you all kind of like look around to see where she might have gone, there is a soft kind of thud and rustle from above you, and you kind of glance up to one of the trees and you see a silhouette kind of standing there backlit by the moon. It seems like the three of you could do with a little help.
Oh God.
And with that, we're going to go into a 5-minute break.
Ooh.
Bye.
Hey, timing. I love a little cliffhanger before the break. It's like real TV.
No, that was good.
Hi, everyone, and welcome back. You missed us, didn't you? I am once again your androgynous android late night DJ Nathan Blades, and this is the second part of our third session as night becomes day. We're going to do what we did like the last handful of times and kind of go around the table and talk about what your characters did last time. So, Tendai, what did Rumbi get up to last time?
So Rumbi got dressed up in their finery. They helped Torea with a cool outfit, something they're not used to seeing them in, which was really fun. And they got to be the proud, I suppose, kind of older sibling and record some epic grinding at the skate park. And yeah, they also had a bit of a they're having a bit of a moment with Loki at the moment where the rift has not been addressed, and it is something that is weighing heavily on their minds because they don't like unresolved issues.
Marvelous. In that case, well, not marvelous for you anyway, but marvelous for the drama. Passing it on to Trocky. What happened for Loki last time, the first half of the show?
Yeah, so Loki found the aptly named self-discovery fragrance, and managed to finally complete the skateboarding trick they've always been trying to, and matched freaks with our villain, which has riled a few feathers, especially because Loki seems Loki was very much trying to just move on from things, ignoring the fact that they have a bit more responsibility to maybe patch things up, considering they are the problem.
And Ruben, what happened to Torea Offshoot on the first half of the show?
Torea was dressed with the help of Rumbi into the outfit of Orlando, the 1992 film. Then had an okay time watching a movie, and then blasted off a spider creature inside of a cinema.
Mm-hmm. They were another moviegoer, but enchanted by the nature of cinema, decided to embody a horror movie ghost for a moment after watching the hit indie film The Lengths You Go to Save the People You Love.
As you would choose to do so, become a spider lady.
Written and directed by the one and only Veronica Houndstooth, who seems to have channeled her own emotions into this particular film reel, and as the nature of the pulse being a collection of emotions concentrated in a single place, it seems to have manifested in an interesting way in the people who watch it. But with Veronica having stepped away, knowing that you need to kind of save the lives of the people that she had enchanted more so than stopping her, a voice from above, standing on the treetops of one of the trees that lines the south bank. Well, it seems that you three need my help, or need some assistance, rather.
Do we?
Hello again.
No, Terea, you don't have to. There is a front flip as Vox Populi jumps off the tree and lands in a very clean 3-point landing in front of you, and stands up in the same brown jacket, tan jacket, and striped trousers.
Okay, so is this going to be a case of, oh, we should work together, and then you're going to like go and scurry off in the background and try and work with people, or what's happening here?
See, the thing is, I've had a little chat with Colm after the events of last time.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of like flat look out onto the water. I apologize, Loki, but I don't regret what I did. I don't think anybody needed to view that tape, even if it was apparently important to you.
You don't get to decide that.
Well, considering it is the we get like as he talks, we get like a flashback to the end of last episode, in that kind of like flashback in an anime sequence where the tape coalesced from pulling the movie from the environment into one place, and then it manifested as a VHS, as in its kind of coalesced form. Considering what it consisted of, it was, well, even I could tell it was dangerous.
You're
It's part of me
dangerous.
too. Yes, I'm aware I'm dangerous.
So why aren't you dealing with yourself? I think we can deal with the other problem here.
There is a pained expression. I know Colm said that he cares about us both, but I won't be replaced so easily. And if I have to, I will do what I have to do to make sure that stays within Colm's life. And currently, that means helping people.
Good people don't help people just to get something.
I never said I was a good person, Loki.
Facts.
Well, I'm glad you're self-aware.
I must say that the movie that has been imprinted on my life is a rather self-referential one. He smiles without smiling, it doesn't reach his eyes. Which is why I think you could do with my assistance.
We are down a person, and I think it would be oddly fitting to have you actually help us this time,
You really think
if you
that
can be
you're
honest.
going to?
I'll put it this way. there's like a measured look at the three of you, like he looks you in the eyes. You've seen the movie, haven't you? I know you have, Loki. You don't need to answer, but you two have seen the movie now, haven't you?
Yes.
I did.
Unfortunately.
We did.
Breaks people. Most of the people ended up crawling their way out of the cinema.
Yeah. I just rescued someone from the Thames, so it's going to be quite cleanup.
One
Loki's-
of the moviegoers for me believed that they were an alien and tried to abduct somebody like into the sky. It didn't go very well for either of them. It's a mess. And in some ways, I suppose he leans against the tree. I should feel lucky that I didn't break the same way they did. Instead, I have all this, I suppose. He waves a hand non-committally and lowers the frame rate of that hand, and then puts it into motion blur, and then chroma aberrations it, and then it's a normal hand again.
Nice party trick. What's he
So
always going to do to help us?
I know how it works, is what I'm saying. I know how she works. I can help you,
Okay.
but you
Or
have
you
to
could
be
tell
open
us
to
and
being
we
helped.
could deal with the rest. And you could go sort out your own little problem while we handle it.
I would love somebody to go and roll their heart rate to essentially convince Vox Populi that to help you. The hit rate of that, the required number of hits, is higher for Loki, since Loki is actively hostile in this situation.
Okay, I will roll 2 health and help.
Sure. Yeah, go for it. Roll your heart rate, please. You are gunning for, I want to say 2 hits. It's not too high.
3 hits.
Beautiful. What do you say to him to have him convince him to help you?
Well, since you seem to think that this is one of the ways in which you can remain in Calm's life, as we are still in Calm's life, then if you help us, I'm sure that a little word of mouth, a little praise, not too much, mind you, but a little bit, will fall on Calm's ears, so he knows that you were actually true to your word, even if your reasoning, as Loki said, are self-serving.
There's a rueful smile. It's not like I'm unable to speak to Colm. I spoke to him earlier today. It's partially why I'm here. But I appreciate you being willing to put in a good word. So.
Are you helping us or not?
What Veronica is trying to do, I suppose. From what I understand, or what I've, I guess, grown to understand after gaining all of this, this is absurd. Genuinely, 2-3 days ago, I would have just been another civilian. And it's just off the back of watching that movie and it not breaking me has given me an understanding of a world I was never aware of before. I'm surprised I haven't been, considered insensible. But instead, I suppose I am a superhero. Again, another thin, eyeless smile. And he's not lying. That's literally the life that he's now been given. He's been given the superpowers against his will. So I think I understand what is at the essence of Houndstooth. The pulse are all drawn by emotions, right? Or they're all chasing or trying to feed off a particular emotion. And it's hard to put into words, but it's something about being like either not quite the center of attention, and it's not quite feeling like a superstar, but it's something about the thrilling moment of drama, a reveling in the drama that is whatever this pulse feeds on. I don't even know if she's aware. She's but a host to which a parasite of the imagination is clinging to her and making incredibly dangerous art.
Okay.
So it's
So,
indulgence.
and then basks in the moment.
So, either you're going to be tracking across the city and trying to find people who are desperate to be superstars, to which, depending on where you are, if you start going to the West End or Fitzrovia, your radar is going to be all over the place. Or you could try and draw her in, be an appetizing meal.
I'm sure we can drum up some drama.
I think we can be very indulgent when we want to be. We got the outfits for it.
That you do, he says. He hesitates and is kind of unsure on how to kind of like frame what to ask next. Do you need a conflict, or are you capable of establishing it between yourselves?
I don't know. What do you think, Loki?
This again?
What do you mean this again?
Oh, point of order before we get into this. Would you like to change your heart rate, Rumbi?
Up.
Okay. And now you can get into it.
This again?
Yes, this again.
You do know that the pulse is like an infection, right? Like, when I was under it, everything was black and white. Everything you did was pretty clear to me, and I felt pretty strongly. That doesn't really reflect how I feel now.
Understandable. But surely that you didn't pick that up off the street. That started from something.
Well,
The pulse feeds on emotions, but the emotion has to be there to some degree. Surely.
maybe there was something. I guess I see you, all of you, having such success in your endeavors. I mean, you were filming at the aquarium on this big production. That's what I dream of. I can't help if I feel a little scared I'm gonna get left behind.
But we'd never leave you behind, and that's where my problem lies.
I'm not saying
Loki,
you
is
do it on
that
purpose, but when things get busy, when everything is going on, and you're going to Hollywood to film something, and you're on that big stage, you just might not have the time anymore.
I get that, and I see where you're coming from with this, but Loki, you're always my first point of call. Who's the source peddler? Who am I going to go to for those very rare VHSs where like movies that people have never even heard of that have such phenomenal costumes? Who would I go to for that? If it wasn't for the fact that Blockbuster still existed. I probably wouldn't be where I am if I hadn't met you. You helped me elevate my craft. I could even if we weren't friends, even if we weren't a weird found family of sorts, I still wouldn't have forgotten you. You are very much a part of my career trajectory. Like, even if I do end up in Hollywood, do you think I'm going to go there by myself? I'm scared of flying. Who's going to be there to tell me 1,000,001 VHS trivia facts that will distract me?
I do have some good VHSs on flight safety.
Exactly. Who does that? Who even would do that? You're the only person.
Two things.
Mm.
One, I think this is definitely enough to reform the frayed heartstring between the two of you. So, Loki, feel free to redefine. It was previously I admire their vibes. When it was twisted by your heartbroken form, it became they abandoned me. But if you like, you can now redefine that heartstring to whatever you want.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna redefine it as a ride or die. Because I think Rumbi has kind of convinced Loki that like there's always a place for them, which I think was what they were struggling with.
The second thing is as it kind of moves to this quite sweet, but in the drama of the moment, maybe faintly saccharine place, there is a golf clapping in the background as Vox Populi is leaning on Torres' like shoulder, being kind of like, "This is very heartwarming, but I don't believe this is the exact genre of movie that would be." The draw, I was expecting something a bit fierier.
Well, I'm
Oh, you
sorry
want
that.
fiery.
So you were just trying to mess with our friendship then?
There is a genuine smile this time. I have no particular issues with you, and I would love to remain friends with Colm, but I don't especially care if you're friends with each other.
On that
Get off my
note.
shoulder. Get off my shoulder.
Sorry, darling.
And can I please attack this dude? This
Do it.
being.
Sure.
What would Colm do?
Drop kick.
Sure.
What would Colin do?
Yeah, you can throw
Okay.
hands with him. I will spare. I say above table. That's horrendously misplaced, but yeah, absolutely. And I will add 2 die for a winning smile. He's rolling against you. He has a heart rate.
Okay, perfect. So you're going to see Rumbi's kind of face crack, and it's not going to be the usual kind of pleasant, serene expression they have. They look pissed. Pissed, and they're just going to look to Toria and say, Toria, can you please step away? And at that, they're going to, again, their hand is just going to disappear into a seam on their trousers. And as they pull it out, they're wearing their knuckle dusters, and they're going to take a couple of jumps, and they're going to throw a hook. And it's going to be, they're going to try and imitate Colin's hook
yes,
as much as possible. That like quick, where it's like you blink and all of a sudden their fist is right there, as much as possible.
All right, how many hits?
Yeah. Okie dokie.
Hell fucking yes.
Let's go.
Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits.
Wow.
You succeed in excess of 3. Would you like to raise or lower? Whose heart rate would you like to raise or lower by 3?
Dang.
I'm going to lower Vox's.
Okay. To note, once again, as a reminder, when somebody is infected by the pulse and heartbroken, If their heart rate goes above their maximum, they purge the pulse from within themselves and they return to normal. If their heart rate goes below minimum, the pulse consumes them and they die. Just so you know.
I'm not trying to. I remember that. I remembered his heart rate was really, really high.
It reset. It's a new session.
Stop.
It's
my
fine, let's
God.
just go.
Listen,
So you hit him
math is not my strongest suit.
incredibly hard. And he maintains decorum, right? He doesn't go flying. He leans with the punch because he's a movie star, or at least in this Heartbroken power set that he's been given. But the imprint on his jaw is incredibly notable. It steams on impact.
I mean, hey, there's one mechanic we haven't seen yet.
He looks at you. He's not dead, but his heart rate
Not
is
yet.
incredibly low. I can tell when I'm not wanted.
Wait. I haven't had a chance to hit him yet, and I feel like I've been waiting a long time for this. I think Loki also kind of.
Okay. He looks at you in surprise. But yeah, go swing at him.
Loki's just like, we need drama to summon this person.
Mm-hmm.
This is the most dramatic person around.
Mm-hmm.
And also, they have tried to kill Loki and tried to ruin Loki's friendships. So
it's interesting. You think about it. He has never lowered your heart rate. He has never actually attempted to kill you. But that's fine. That's above table. That's the dramatic irony here. Okay.
Loki's friggin' mad.
Absolutely. No, please.
And Loki doesn't know that
he's
the heart rate's
adding
going
2
down.
for his Heartbroken trait of a winning smile. He realizes he's actually having to fight somebody this time. So he takes 2 for cowboy skills and another 2 for I do my own stunts to push him back up to 8 desperately.
So I'm gonna just attack with my regular no aspects because I feel like above the table I should give him that chance. Let's see.
Oh man, okay. How many hits?
1.
Okay. He rolled 2 hits. How do you attack him?
So I was imagining Loki is gonna just like basically run, throw up the skateboard, and then like kick the skateboard. So the skateboard like flat, like underside first, is just gonna like shoot forwards and smack him in the side of the face.
He catches it in one hand. As I said,
shit.
I'm aware when I'm not wanted.
It's not that you're not wanted. You did say
Don't lie
drama.
to me.
Listen, I'm not lying to you. You did say you wanted drama. You were the easy option.
Everything
if the drama
around you
between
is
myself
drama.
and Loki. Exactly.
An easy option, huh? You want drama, huh? All right. But I'm tired of putting my neck on the line for all of you, so I suppose you can put your neck on the line yourself. I know exactly where Veronica is. After all, I am in part her, whether I want it to be or not. Editing.
Wait, what?
He looks at you and says quite calmly, editing, and you are jump cut. You find yourself on Waterloo Underground, the Jubilee platform, and see Veronica get onto a tube as it arrives. And as you understand where you now currently are, the scenes in between him telling you where she is and you moving to this location cut from the narrative for time is horrendously disorienting to you, and you do not recognize it's her until the doors close and the train starts to move away.
Oh, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Okay. Why didn't you just say you could do that in the first place?
He's not there. The train is leaving.
Oh shit. Okay, skateboard tracks. We need to get the train. Catch the train.
You want us to skate on the tracks?
Well, okay, we need to catch.
we can certainly
need to at
try.
least Yeah.
And actually,
Soraya?
while you're
Three of us
here
on
in this kind
this.
of desperate moment, you feel maybe it's just the heat and pressure of being on the London Underground. The air is different down here. They have to have actually a really complicated set of vents and air filtration systems. Otherwise, the air pressure of a train moving into the space would blow everybody off the platform. So the air feels different down here. But then you also realize that it's not air, it's film grain. You're in a movie again.
Brilliant.
But hey, being in a movie means that you can do an absurd stunt and not immediately die.
Why is it always on celluloid, not tape? Okay. I guess Loki is going to try and grind on the third rail to, like, I guess can we do like a combo and get Loki to get the other end of the measuring tape that Rumby uses, and then like try and grind and catch up with the train and like hook it onto the train somehow so we can like pull everyone else along.
Yeah, no, that makes perfect sense. In a similar way to way we did teamwork of Terea assisting Rimby to kind of dive in. I want a roll from Rimby in terms of to like tether the train, and then we can get a roll to grind afterwards.
Okay, perfect. And on that, kind of sussing where Loki was going with this, Rumby is going to grab Torea on their way. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 successes, and I have 2 ones.
5 successes, 2 ones.
How do you roll so good? Like,
5 successes. Well, 5 successes is definitely an exceed. I would have said that this would be actually pretty difficult, like a 3 hit. Sorry to forget my own rules. But because you exceeded 2 above that, that's a crit. So not only do you get what you want, you get to change the heart rate of other people in the scene by up to the difference, which is 2. So you do it. Now, do you want to change other people's heart rates in the scene? I will say that Veronica is technically in the scene.
Okay.
Even if she's not on the platform right now, she is here. So she does have a heart rate here.
Oh. I kind of want to bring it up, but also I'm scared that you'll fuck us up.
yeah, I'm scared. Like,
That's the
how
way it
high
works
is her heart
mechanically.
rate?
Raising somebody's heart rate puts them towards being quote unquote saved, but it also makes them more dangerous.
More dangerous.
Yeah, it's great, but it's also terrifying when we don't have a
But
grasp
if
of
you
what her
don't think
heart
you
rate
could
is
beat
right
her
now.
like that, you could lower her heart rate.
Oh, but also,
Ooh,
then
tough
I
moral
already get
decisions.
consumed. I learned my mistake with the maths of the first one on Vox.
Yeah. Everyone was like, give him more dice, and I was just like,
Okay.
Do you know what? Yeah, I do know. I'll probably go up with Veronica.
Okay, raising Veronica's heart rate by 2. Noted. You succeeded. Would you like to change your own heart rate up or down, or keep it the same?
I think I'm gonna like take a beat and maybe lower my heart rate a bit.
Noted. You said that there were 2 1s floating.
Yes.
Torreya, what's your heart rate at right now?
Uno.
Oh,
I'll hold on to that for a second. Let's get the other part of this roll going. So this was a tube maneuver thing, one to go and make to whip to tether the end of the train, and then grinding on Loki's behalf. So let's get a roll from you, Loki, about the grinding side of things. Since this was a crit, the difficulty of this has been very much lowered. This is a 2 difficulty check, where it would have probably been 4 had things gone horribly wrong.
So that is 3 successes and 2 1s.
Okay, you do it. Would you like to change your own heart rate up or down, or keep it the same?
I will go up.
Okay. I'm leaving you to keep track of all of that. Thank you for
Yeah,
being so on
I got a little dice for it.
Okay. As this duo, Torreya, you have watched them argue out their differences on the pier, and in this particular moment, you see them in sync together, act as one to tether themselves to the train and start to move away alongside it, and have not made any accommodations for you.
I did say I wanted to try and grab Torreya on the way to
Sure, okay.
grabbing the train.
You still
In
have
that
the other
case,
skateboard.
I think your perspective here is not that you were left behind, but you feel like you were an afterthought in terms of being kind of dragged along in this particular instance, which is not Rimby's actual intention. But hey, we've got to work with the emotions and dice rolls. Your heart rate drops by 2.
I know.
So
with those ones that Rimby rolled, and because you have gone below your minimum. Describe your dark transformation as you become heartbroken.
I think the first thing that happens, like the outfit that Torreya was wearing, just kind of like falls off like a slough of flesh, just, and underneath it is this outfit. I think a very, I want to say sort of like Gucci bandages, like black velvet, like wrapped around, and sort of like everything's kept close, and cool looking Timbs underneath, but just kind of like a mummy of like a fashion mummy emerging, and just kind of can I like pull something, because I want to sit, so like appear next to Veronica with an offer.
Okay.
Out of this.
We can work that in the narrative.
Yeah.
Before we do that though, what is the new Heartbroken tag that you now gain?
Ooh, the new Heartbroken tag.
It is repeatable for as long as you remain heartbroken.
I work better alone.
Okay. Finally, your heart rate resets to 5, and you are now beholden to the rules of being heartbroken. Should your heart rate increase above its maximum, you will purge the pulse from yourself and return to normal. Should your heart rate go below the minimum again, the pulse will consume you and you will be removed from the story.
Understood.
The weight that you feel, Rimby, of carrying Torreya lightens, and then you realize that it's not just your tape measure whip that is attached to the back of the train, but now a second dark strip of fabric is also extended out and is coiling as if it had kind of like motion and movement of its own on the door, and it curls in and pulls the window, the back door of the train open, and the figure that you were holding, this now black silhouette with very, very nice Timbs, lifts itself suspended by this fabric and is pulled with inside the train, which appears to be startlingly empty.
Ooh.
the perspective moves to inside of the train as we see on like inside view, Torreya walk down the inside of this tube carriage. The lights flickering on and off. With some of the flickers, we see the echoes of people who have been on this train, just the lingering residue of people existing within this space. The echoes of that, the psychic remnants of that sit within the train like ghosts as you move from carriage to carriage. Rather than opening the doors that connect between the two, which you definitely are not supposed to open while the train is in motion, just straps of fabric in the thing that you're bound in open it for you as you continue to move. About 2 carriages in, you meet Veronica, who is sitting once again cross-legged and still vaping again, which you should not do on the train.
First thing I do. Oh.
Have you seen the movie Train to Busan?
I heard. No, I can't. You can't do puns. I want to snatch her vape out of her hand with
Sure.
one of the black thing, the black velvet things.
She looks at you pretty flatly, but she looks at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You can turn people into movie versions. I need you to turn me into someone who can manage it all.
She looks at you and gives a mild chuckle and says, "Well, you seem to have done a pretty good job of reshaping your own image, which is nice. As when people are at their lowest, they can really find an understanding in others, wouldn't you say?"
I'm not at my lowest.
Hmm.
Whatever you think this is. This is a choice.
Okay. But if you're interested in being able to handle it all, there are a number of different heist movies that could be a fit for you in your current state. Everybody loves a London gangster flick. With your permission, I am going to change your special move.
Go ahead.
You gain. Oh yeah, no, I'm going to give you this one. It's great. You gain Angel Among Mortals. In your desperate moment,
Oh shit. Okay.
you push yourself to deific feats, revealing a form beyond comprehension. Your next roll automatically counts as 7 hits. Set your heart rate to 1.
Holy fuck.
I have given you a nuke. Have fun.
Actual glass cannon.
Oh, wish I was
What?
screwed.
Set
Yeah.
your heart rate to 1. Perfect.
But I was joking about like we haven't seen one mechanic.
I've
I'm
been
worried
trying
that
to
we-
get to
we're
this
already
place since session 1.
I knew what you were about. I'm enabling. You don't have to use this ability, and it doesn't kill you. It just sets you to 1. But I think as you take a draw from the vape cigarillo, you feel the nature of yourself be edited in post.
I think
like when you watch somebody in a movie and they've clearly been ADR'd, their voice has been dubbed over and replaced. You feel that like spiritually as something about the nature of your backstory has changed.
Sort of like the black velvet sort of like shimmers like tape as characters are sort of like sliding into.
It's very near Gestalt. The black
Yeah.
scroll kind of.
Exactly. You see them like the characters disappear under sort of like folds and clothes. All right. So basically, what I need to do is do it myself then.
You can do anything you want. You just need to pay the price for it, is all.
What about you?
Oh, well, I have a sense that there is going to be an extended action sequence I'm going to have to put myself through. Usually I have stunt doubles to do this sort of thing, or I would make sure that combat scenes are not part of my scripts, but if needs be. But you can do what you like.
I want to sort of like fade to black and see what the others are doing.
Mm-hmm. I was going to say, ultimately, it is you having kind of made your way managed to wheel your way onto the train car. You're behind. This is about 3 cars in that this conversation is happening. And yeah, this train car is empty. The lights are still flickering. It's weird. You can see that the doors have been open and torn away, connecting in between. Clearly, Terrea, whatever Terrea has become, has moved through here.
This is no good.
Why does this keep happening?
I don't know. I thought that Terrea was doing okay too. I guess
Well,
didn't notice.
no, he hasn't been doing well since your transformation, and you essentially told him that work matters more than your friendship, and
But we talked
that's
about
something.
it, and we did the trick, and we were good.
But stuff like that can still linger, Loki. Like, just because you've talked about something doesn't mean everything is a-okay, or just because you haven't talked about something doesn't mean everything is a-okay. Like, I just don't know why this keeps fucking happening.
You wonder, all of this is kind of off the result of the nature of the power that you have to be able to save people, to even interact with this world that seems fictional to everybody else in London. Well, that's what's putting a pressure on you, a pressure that no ordinary person who lives in London has to bear. It is your curse as well as your blessing. Heroics is not a job that anybody can do. You continue to move through the cars, and eventually you see a shadow, really, and the woman, Veronica Houndstooth, sitting down on one of the seats.
Hey, Veronica.
She stands up and puts a hand inside her coat and pulls out a script and begins to read from it aloud. Interior night. The 3 desperate individuals in the search for something greater confronted their latest obstacle, the train heading to completely nowhere. The train has been running in the dark for so long, nobody could even really tell where the next stop would be, if it was even on the line through on the Jubilee. But they did know that there was one obstacle between themselves and what they were truly looking for, and she was wearing a to die for pinstripe suit. Still, her aura was incredibly menacing. And we're going to move into Action Spotlight. And she is going to look at Loki. Loki, please roll your heart rate.
Yep. Da-da-da-da.
Better.
That's 4 hits and 1-1.
Since this is an opposed roll, the ones are not important. I also rolled 4, which actually I think is perfect. Upon her speaking that you are intimidated by her, you feel it. It is the script mandates that you need to act out being intimidated, and your body moves of its own accord, but you hold yourself. You don't try to run. You don't fall to your knees, but you can tell that the nature of the story necessitates that you feel afraid, and then you throw that thought away. With that, I guess I pass the spotlight. So I will pass it to Loki.
Okay. That damn script. If only I could. Loki is going to use their special move. So they're going, because it lets them, when you get moving, you're an unstoppable force, move somewhere in the scene. Both you and the GM name an object or character in the scene which are damaged, displaced, or thrown into peril. Loki's basically gonna like hop back on the skateboard and try to zoom past, grab the script, and like destroy it so that they can't keep dictating what happens.
Perfectly fine. The script is thrown into peril. I don't think it is destroyed, but what is done here is that the train threatens to derail. The sheer force of you moving and then slamming into the side of the car causes a large amount of sparks to kind of emanate from the wheels of the vehicle, and you feel the whole thing bodily like shift sideways. And that like shift in balance also knocks Veronica off balance, and she drops the script. If you'd like to make an action actually for your role, you can do so here. For this particular instance, she can't use her Heartbroken tag of scriptive events in this role, since she's not holding it.
Hell yeah. Okay.
Correct case.
I'm gonna use my 6 skateboard aspect as well then.
Okay. She is going to be using one of her aspects of Smoke Cloud.
Hell yeah.
Okay. How many hits?
There's 4 hits with 3 ones.
6 hits.
Dang.
She, as you advance on her or advance towards the script to try and snatch it away from her, she has managed to continue. The continuity person didn't catch it, but she has the vape back in her hands again as she takes a long drag from it and blows this big candy shop on fire scented cloud through the space, obscuring both herself and the script. And you just swipe at nothing as you move through the train carriage. This is a pretty narrow space, so there isn't really a lot of space to run. The doors further in are still closed, and the doors at the back are still open, although you can see that those carriages are starting to sway side to side as they have like pulled themselves free from the rail. Who would you like to pass the spotlight to, Loki?
I'm gonna pass it to Rumby.
Oh, if I didn't say, that's lowering your heart rate by 2 in the difference of that.
Oh, dang. Okay.
All right, Rumby, what's the play?
Rumby is going to kind of take a second to kind of get their bearings over all that's kind of happening, going from Loki being evil to now Torea being evil, and they're like, what the I don't understand why this keeps happening. I thought, oh, and they're going to run through the carriages until they see Veronica. And when they do, they're going to try and use one of their aspects. let's see. What haven't I used yet? Going to use disorientating spins
Mm-hmm.
against Veronica.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And I know I'm on 7 now rather than 8.
Okay.
You're on
She
7
continues to
too.
roll her heart rate. She has
I
access
was
to
on
her.
8.
She has access to her book again, so she's going to continue using her Heartbroken tag of script of events. Okay.
Hey, GM, why'd you laugh?
Oh no.
How many hits?
So I've got. Oh wait, sorry. I've got 3 hits.
Okay.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Sorry, I only rolled 6 dice. Can I roll my last one?
You can roll the additional to get up to the correct number, of course.
Yeah, I got 3.
Okay. She got 4.
No.
She continues to read from the script. Rimby. Like colon, like it's your dialogue. Take this, you old hag. And you say it as you move in with a disorienting spin. You try to go for Rimby goes for a low roundhouse kick to try and trip the villain off her feet, but knowing it was coming, she casually stood out of the way, and with the twisting of the carriage instead, Rimby slammed into the door on the other side, breaking it through. And you do the roundhouse sweep, going instead into a low slide as you rocket down the middle of the carriage and kick through the door to the next area. She sedately walks after you. Who do you pass the spotlight to? Oh, and your heart rate lowers by 1.
Okay, cool. I am going to pass the spotlight to Torea.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sort of like spider out a window onto the top of the carriage
Absolutely,
and re-rail it, because you mentioned it was derailing. So I want to like use sort of like Spider-Man powers essentially to
Sure, okay.
get this going.
This is hard. This is hard to do.
Yeah.
This is probably something that would take like what, 4 hits to sensibly do.
Yeah.
To lift multiple train cars by yourself and re-rail them. That sounds pretty difficult.
You'd have to be an angel among mortals, right?
You want to pop it on that? Okay.
No, I don't actually.
Definitely. I was going to say, damn. Right. Okay.
Watch me transcend. Can I still burn normal aspects?
Yes, of course.
Yes. I would like to burn thinking fast and an emotional wall to bump myself to
add another
9.
4 dice to the roll in total.
Yeah.
Yes, marvelous.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2 hits.
Okay. Let's see. Are you happy with that amount of success?
I need 4, right?
Yes. So, because you're currently heartbroken, if you use a heartstring now, you will instead just re-roll all of your failures. So you could potentially get up to 4, but you ruin a memory of a relationship. So
Yeah.
are you willing to destroy a relationship to give yourself additional power in this circumstance?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. You haven't used either of your heartstrings yet, have you?
I used Colm's
Previously, yes, earlier. So currently, the only other heartstring you have you have used your heartstring with Cassie,
Oh, I did,
last session. So unfortunately, you do not have any unbroken heartstrings to use.
No.
So in this instance, unfortunately, you do just fail. You try. You really try, and using the straps kind of pull themselves away from you, and start latching onto the tops of the carriages and try to align it again. But the more that you extend them, the tighter it bonds you, and it hurts. You manage to get one of the cars back on track before the pain is too much for you to bear and you have to stop. Your heart rate increases by 2.
Decreases?
Increases.
Increases. Understood.
Yeah, I find if you're going through pain, it's definitely not going to decrease your heart rate.
I love this.
It is just panicking. This shit sucks right now. You're at the end of you're at the top of the round. That was a complete round.
Yeah.
So the circumstances get worse, just by default of it hitting the top of a new round. At this point, you see a flash of light as you barrel through a station.
That's bad.
We see a shot on the side where people hear the train coming, and then yelps of panic as they back themselves away from the platform edge, which you should be standing away from the edge anyway. Gosh, as the train barrels past without stopping, kicking up chunks of concrete and tile as it kind of like thrashes against the space with the back carriage still derailed. You feel it like take a route that isn't. There is a loud clunk, like there is a shift in the direction of the difference point when train tracks shift from one to the other, and junction. You're going on a different. You can feel that you've gone on a different chute, and you have no idea where that ends, or even how long this part of the track is.
Interesting.
It's the top of the round. Who would you like to pick to go next, Terrea? It can be yourself.
I want to give it to myself and try the exact same thing.
Okay. That one of the carriages has been reasserted again, so it's easier now. It only requires 3 hits.
Okay. I would like to use my newfound, my tag, I work better alone, to bump myself to 9 dice, and there we go. 5 dice, 5 successes, 1-1.
Cool. You crit. You've exceeded the requirement by 2. So you do it. Please describe how you managed to, with a crit success, do what you intend to do.
I think so. As like reattaching the lashes and the velvet lashes, and the tightening happens again. I think there's sort of like you get like a black silhouette, and there's like just pure darkness, and then like a ripple, like a drop of water in the mind of like pure concentrating calm on like, this is simply not sort of like, oh, I'm calming down, but rather like
a pure focus kind of
pure focus of, this is simply what you have to endure every single day from now on, and that is a fact, and you're just going to have to deal with that. And that sort of like forms the basis. Not anxiety, but just like, that's the basis now.
And it shifts back into place. There is pain, but you choose to not feel it as the trains are placed back on the track. And internally, you feel that the off-kilter sensation that Loki and Ruby would have from the train being partially disrailed stops suddenly. Terrea, does your heart rate go up, down, or stay the same? You're muted, by the way. You're muted. You're muted. Oh. There we go. Up, down, or the same? Up. Gotcha. Because you crit, you can change other people's heart rates in the scene by up to 2. It doesn't have to be the same person, and it can be up or down. You don't have to spend them if you don't want.
I want to up Veronica's by 2.
Okay.
Can I add that curtains fall over the windows of the carriages that we're in?
Sure. Yeah. I mean,
like
you're
a
in
black
this kind of filmic space, and you're using power that you didn't have before over reality. So yes, velvet curtains drape themselves over the side of the carriages, and kind of plunges it muffles the rumbling of this runaway train to the internals, and Veronica looks at up into the ceiling. Oh, well, this wasn't part of the script, but it is still thrilling. I think we're reaching our climax, ladies and gentlemen. Who are you passing it to?
I'm gonna pass it to the GM.
Oh
Okay.
no.
We're in trouble.
Yep. Ruben's gone full supervillain on us.
I mean, it's
Loki
interesting. It's
lays
interesting
the
to think
path.
about this here because, what she wants is a very difficult thing. It's not necessarily like, I want to win, I want to kill you. It's so outside of standard black and white morality. It's very
Ooh.
difficult to kind of frame it. But give me a second. Okay. Right.
Yeah. I normally don't get to play characters like this, so I'm enjoying. These are plums, narrative plums for me.
Okay. She looks at Rumbi, whose heart rate is currently quite high. I think so. In the dramatis personae of this particular story, one of you isn't here, and well, I think the heartbreak that he would feel on something so dramatic and terrible happening to you and he wasn't there to help you could really further this story along, give it a really interesting fourth act. So I think this is going to be the end of the line for you. She uses her own special power, special ability, Indulgence of Elimination. You are not afraid to get blood on your hands to solve a problem quickly. When lowering a character's heart rate as a result of an opposed roll, double the amount lowered.
Oh.
She, I think, just takes the vape with the extended handle and just wields it as one would a stiletto blade, and just in this moment you feel like it has the power of a knife, and she goes at you just hand to hand.
Oh, okay.
Are you going to be using any of your abilities?
Absolutely, I will. Okay.
Nice.
I might use my special move.
A door to darkness, absolutely.
Yeah.
Gaining the temporary tag of Pulse Frenzy for the
Pulse
scene, as long as you are
Frenzy.
not heartbroken. And it is
I'm not
repeatable.
heartbroken yet.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna special move
She,
it.
on the other hand, will be using one of her aspects, Acta Est Fabula, because she wants to end the act. The show is over, at least in her opinion. Okay. How many hits?
1, 2, 3. 3 hits.
Okay. She rolled 5. The difference of it being 2 doubled to 4. She lowers your heart rate by 4 as she stabs you in the chest. It hurts a lot.
Oh, okie dokie.
Feel that burn. Let it motivate you. Or you could just give up and die here. Either way, it's a tragedy. I pass to Rimby.
So, Rumbi's just going to kind of crouch a bit where that burn would have happened, and they're going to be clutching at the skin just above it. And when they say give up here, they're just going to think of all the times that people had given up on themselves, and they kind
Mm.
of bolstered them,
Mm-hmm.
and they're just gonna think, well, I can't just give up. If I didn't let them give up, it'll make me a hypocrite. And they're going to kind of like stand up, like, and say, I wish I knew how to, but I can't.
Then
And
come
they are
then.
okay. Since you asked so nicely, Rumbi is going to dust out their like knuckle dusters. So they're going to kind of like throw their arms to the side, and the knuckle dusters just start unraveling from their hand into their whip.
Mm-hmm.
And oh, actually, I was wondering, in terms of, can I use one of my new fighting styles that I got?
Absolutely. Of course you can.
Okay, perfect. Now this might be a bit mercy-ish, but we'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to use out of the box
Mm.
that I got from Loki, and
Yeah.
I was wondering if, based on out of the box, can I pick a random weapon out of like movie history?
Oh, I see. Okay. Yeah, you like reach inside your kind of like sewing repair kit and pull out a question mark, question mark, question mark. Which I guess what it is will resolve based on how this roll goes. So yeah, I'm into that.
Okay, darling. Jeez, I don't have to this. Oh,
Oh, your heart rate lowered a lot, huh?
I
Hey,
wonder
hey,
why.
You can't do that. You can't be like that. You did that.
Mhm. All right. How many hits?
I only got one.
Okay. She got 3.
Of course you did. Of
Difference
course
being
you
2,
did.
currently doubled to 4. Okay. So what weapon do you pull?
Ooh, for the weapon, actually, I'd like to ask Chucky, what weapon would I pull, since you're the one who gave me the fighting style?
I feel like
It-
you would be thinking to like some of the films Loki has shown you. So maybe you pull out like nunchucks from like an old Bruce Lee film or something.
Mhm.
Awesome. Yep, let's do that. I love Bruce Lee. Let's go.
Yes, absolutely. And there is a whole like set of blows. She makes it look good. She makes you work for it. You go in
Mhm.
again in a side shot in a very like
Ip Man.
yeah, kind of this extended combat scene that's in all in one shot with no cuts. You fight
Mhm.
down the corridor with you swinging these nunchucks around, and she parries with her bare hands and the cigarette holder.
Mm.
And then eventually, there is a shot where you try to go for her side, and it is a feint, and she has the a cigarette holder to your throat, and you can feel it burn. And then she says, I think you need to become something a little bit more cinematic. And you heartbreak.
Oh
I'm going
no.
to give a specific prompt here.
Mm.
With the nature of the movie now having enshrined you and a moment of practical effects body horror taking over, you plunge your hand into your chest and pull out your own heart. What does it look like?
What does my heart look like? Oh, that's a very good question. Rumi's heart will look anatomically quite accurate,
Hmm.
but instead of it being just like the flesh you'd expect of an organ, it would be covered in a mixture of like Swarovski, like different rhinestones,
Mhm.
like different gems, like rubies, as well as like sequins, some velour here and there, some Duchess satin, like a mixture of all of these red fabrics and materials
As if
to
it were a
create
Fabergé
this
egg, but your heart instead.
egg.
Your beating heart all the same.
Exactly. And it's going to look like something that should be in one of those like boxes, the special ones at like museums and stuff, where you breathe too closely and will set you on fire. One of those.
As you heartbreak in this fashion, please start considering what your additional heartbroken tag might be. You no longer have access to Pulse Frenzy because you are currently heartbroken. She, for her part, says, "That seems like a good wrap upon the scene. I'll leave you to handle the train." And she starts preparing to leave on a still moving train. The scene has to pass to Loki because you're the only person left to act in the round. What'd you do, Loki? And this is probably going to end the sequence. So
Yeah. Oh no. Loki's just gonna look around and just be like, "This has got way too dramatic," and trying to think of a way to almost like spoil the film. You know, like if I can't stop it being dramatic, maybe I can make it something that you wouldn't want to put to screen anymore. So I think, and this is a long shot. I think using Loki's aspect of reckless partying, and like I'm going Hail Mary here. I think I'm basically gonna pull out all the stops. So I'm gonna use my rad kick flips as well. Actually, no, I will use reckless partying and hard the party. I'm not gonna use everything right now. Loki is basically going to try to go through as many things that you cannot put to film in terms of like all the cuss words. Loki is going to try and manifest drugs and basically
very
just
Hays
ruin
Code breaking. There's that one graphic of like a sexy school teacher smoking and gambling at the same time. It's like a big checklist of all the things you can't
Loki is going
do
to
in
start
old-time film.
gambling drugs while yelling various expletives in the hope that basically Loki can get the film cancelled because it's got too dramatic. Like originally Loki was thinking, can we maybe make it less dramatic and that'll kind of flatten it out? But now we've got two heartbroken people. I don't think that's going to work. So I think Loki is basically going to go on this side of, what if I just ruin this film? Like, what if I do everything that makes this film no longer valuable to watch?
Yeah, because the moment that Rumbi pulled out her own heart and the visible reaction from you about it, the drama of that just made Veronica's skin like de-age. She the just whatever pulse parasite is feeding on her just got the biggest hit it's had in like weeks.
Yeah.
Okay, this is against the environment rather than against Veronica, so that I think is just going to be eighth. We'll go easy on you. It is the 3-hit check.
Here we go. That is 4 hits and 5 ones.
Okay. Okay. And this is going to wrap up the scene of sorts. You change the nature of this movie into a raunchy stoner comedy, essentially. You don't see the finer details of it, but there's enough that kind of like operates in terms of sound and silhouette that it carries. And because there's a velvet curtain over the sides of the train while this is going, train carriage, while this is going, we don't see what's happening outside, and we can no longer, because there's such a raucous party going on in here, we can no longer hear the of the train moving. And so at its climax of the party going on in here, a one-person party, we've entirely kind of forgotten about what's going on outside. And she looks at you confused, then annoyed, and then outraged as we feel ourselves jolt to a halt. And it's not a gentle break either, it's a big one.
Mm.
And the train car tilts violently. We even see on top of the car, although strangely not the background, like an extreme close-up of Terea, you lose your balance from the top of the car and land on grass.
Mm.
And the camera pulls out, and somebody's going to have to remind me the name of this, but it's not super important. There is a grass area next to Soho near the kind of like end of where the kind of like central gay village would have been back in the day and is now just expensive restaurants. It's where the Green Carnation used to be, but there's a big park area just off Tottenham, just off like Oxford Street and in that kind of space.
Is that Soho Square?
Yeah, thank
Like,
you, Soho Square.
yeah.
And you are buried into a flower bed in a lot of the turf there. There are a lot of people who were pre-drinking before going out, who are very surprised about a train car suddenly existing in this space.
wanna
The
be as-
velvet kind of like curtain that is also part of Terea in some kind of way falls off, and inside the car you now see outside.
And Loki's just gonna turn to Veronica and just be like, try getting that past the BBFC.
She pinches the bridge of her nose.
Yeah.
Tasteless. Tasteless. But it
Can
can be
I-
fixed in the director's cut.
Can I walk up to Veronica back into the tram?
She steps off the train carriage. She's done what she needs to do here and is preparing to leave. But I like the idea of as she steps out, you are there in front of her as she tries to
Yeah.
leave.
I want to like sort of like stretch my back like some sort of gargoyle kind of like aesthetic, and I go like, the thing about directors is that they sometimes wrap themselves in so many layers of irony, you don't really know what's at the source anymore. But it can be quite suffocating. And I want to step towards her and be a threat.
Absolutely. Is this an opposed role, or are you just trying to just intimidate?
I think I might sprout some wings, as I am an angel among mortals.
Absolutely. She is going to roll against you as she tries to, resist your influence as you go beyond human comprehension. This immediately terrifies all of the drunk people who are in Soho Park. Just entirely, they were shocked by the train appearing, even more shocked by just a roadman just unfurling into the Angel of Death. Okay, roll your heart rate.
My next roll automatically counts
It's
7
automatically
hits.
7, so you don't need to roll. It is just 7 hits if you want to activate it now.
I do.
Okay. She rolls 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that's it.
That's what I thought.
That's it. Okay. Whose heart rate are you changing and by how much? To note, she is 11 out of 12 in her heart rate. So if you push it higher, you purge the pulse out of her above table, just to let you know. But you don't have to do that.
I get sort of like the wrapping. I think the wings sort of like wrap. Not wrap, but sort of like form a dome around her. And I see just it's going to get slightly pushed closer until she feels so like not velvet, but just 2 hands on her shoulder. And I think Terea just looks at her and goes, "Be genuine." And then just the globe just kind of like shrinks and expands, and she's there.
Yeah, there's a crack. It's too tight for a moment, like like a black hole collapsing onto itself. It is a
Yeah.
singularity point for a fraction of a time, and then it expands back out again. And the shape of Veronica Houndstooth is just changed by the nature of this implosion and resetting. And we see a pretty ordinary woman who has been going to her local cafe for the last 3 weeks and been working on a script, the magnum opus that she knows that she's been working on, trying to not be distracted. This is the third cafe that she's had to try to find a space, both peace of mind and a place that will just let her work without distractions, without life distractions. We no longer care to have to look after our hair or wearing the nice sweater outdoors. It's just to, at the detriment of all else, finish the things that need to be finished. And that kind of ragged, beaten up by the creative process woman is there.
I'm gonna crouch down, sort of like make eye contact with her, and I want to sit like a gargoyle. I want to be unsettling, and I go, "Your greatest magnum opus was me, and you can't claim that. You're nothing anymore." And I turn away.
And as we leave this scene here, confident that you single-handedly have solved a problem that your allies could not, you took stock of how that feels. But it's really hard to say that you feel much of anything right now, as your heart rate drops to 1. And we go into a bit of an epilogue here. We've overrun slightly. Thank you, everybody, for being patient. Time has passed. And you still are doing the things that you have to do, even with this particular note of things out of the way. Pulse still exists. People in London still feel things, still feel too much. And there's nobody else really that can come to your assistance about it. You sometimes see Vox Populi, but they tend to work away from all of you. They're not especially interested in trying to work alongside you or even really confront you for much of anything. Loki, where are you 2 weeks from now?
I think Loki has kind of tried to make a bit of a change. Like, they're still most of the time spending their time at the Blockbuster running it, but in their spare time, they've been trying to, like, basically start doing what they'd been meaning to do this whole time and start working on making something. I think they've given up on making the VHS. I think they don't think, having lost it twice, that is their magnum opus anymore. I think that Loki is probably trying something new. Bring it full circle, I think Loki's probably trying to create a new skateboarding trick, because being one of the only people to complete the Innsmouth grind, even if the footage of it is almost completely unusable, I'd like to think they've been able to do it again since then and prove themselves. And so now they are working on something new.
Nice. Ruby, what are you doing 2 weeks from that day?
I want to say that Rumbi's actually probably having a bit of a depression rut. And that they were kind of taken out of themselves pretty brutally. And they felt quite exposed, essentially wearing their heart on their sleeve. And they're not sure quite how to manage that?
Well, you lock it away. You put it somewhere where nobody else can lay eyes on it. It is far too beautiful and too precious for other people to see, to deal with.
Exactly. So they're kind of rotting at home, wearing the most unglamorous of outfits, like a 16-year-old band t-shirt, sweats, watching watching season after season after season of like just terrible like fashion shows, and they're not taking as much joy out of it as they would have before. They feel a bit lost
Mm.
in that they feel like they let down the people in their lives. First Loki, then Torea, and they can't help but think that Colm might have ended up going down that same route as well.
Mm.
Even though it wasn't their job, they still feel like they let them down.
And it's interesting. The moment that you resolved to remain at home, to just sit, is the moment that it felt like the film effect stopped. As per usual, you don't really notice until it stops whirring. But by locking yourself away, you're no longer a scene for drama anymore. And nobody immediately came to your aid either. It's been a little while. So the interest of your narrative has now waned, and the movie is no longer affecting you. Whether that was intentional or otherwise remains to be seen, but at least the eyes of the silver screen are off you for now. For Terea, we actually see somebody who isn't Terea, a little older but still on the young side of things. They get an alert on their phone. All right. What was it this time? They check their phone. You have a new delivery. Please approach pickup point C for your delivery invigilator. They make their way. It is Camden Lock. Camden is very much a street, or at least used to be, very big for street fashion, particularly punk fashion. It's near a canal, hence Lock, and one of the largest areas of kind of like independent clothing and craft stores in kind of an area. And there's a side road that this individual goes down. You can kind of see on the other side of the Lock people drinking beer in a beer garden outside, and a shadowy figure, or hang on about it's not a shadow. He's just wrapped entirely in black. That's weird. Hey, you're the dude that is you're the pickup point, yeah?
Crane's neck very slowly, eyes sunken, as if has not stopped moving in 2 weeks. That would be me.
So you don't have much of like a, I don't know, I was expecting like a lockup, like a parcel or whatever. Like this job was supposed to be delivering parcels and stuff, yeah?
Yeah.
So gimme.
Gimme.
There's that response gets his hackles up, and he's about to, you can tell in his face that he wants to start arguing with you, and then realizes that he needs the job and holds it, but is still gesturing for the parcel that he's supposed to be delivering.
Sort of like pulls down a bandage, and there's just, it doesn't, I don't know what sort of like is sensed, but I think like you don't directly see, but I think you hear something slimy, something crack, and as the package just like is pulled out, and I just hand it over.
Mm-hmm. His eyes are wide in shock as he watches this occur.
You've got a few hours. Every second counts.
Yes, boss, as he turns and runs into the streets of the city. For London never sleeps, and neither does Torreya Offshoot.
And so, like, the last shot, one velvet just thing shoots up as he's against his will pulled away again to duty.
Yeah, there's a whir. There's a whooshing sound as the man looks away and looks at the parcel in his hands, still slightly slimy, and he looks back to ask you a question, and Torreya is not there. And that is a very bittersweet ending to our 3-part series of Heartbeats and Perfect Sync London's Pulse.
Wow, the energy is
heavy.
Oh my
Good
Carrot.
shit.
The drama.
Fantastic work. Fantastic work. Let's do a little bits of wrap up. We don't need to go and do the level up bits and pieces because we're done for today. But instead, we're going to take that time to go around to the tip of each of you, talk about who you are, where you can find your stuff, and your favorite moment from the run. So let's start with Chucky.
You always gotta be first with things. Okay.
Love picking on people.
Yeah, so I'm Leon or Chucky. I mostly reside in my own little chaos den on Twitch. As for what I do, I literally do everything. Like in the last week, I've done cosplay mostly because I've had a convention coming up. So there's a load of cosplay stuff. Loads of games. I do a new game every week, and then I also try and do like continuous series of games. And I don't know, I'm just honestly always around. Like I always say yes to things, so I end up doing stuff like this a lot.
Thank you for saying yes to me. I appreciate it.
Thank you for inviting me. Yeah, yeah, I don't know, if you like chaos, come by. As evidence today, I have a lot of random props too, but it's part of it. Yeah, I think my favorite part of this probably gotta be like, I can't pick a specific moment, but I think of like the interpersonal like conversations that characters have had. I think like what I found really interesting with this system is how it kind of pushes us towards that a lot more. Like I really like, I eat it up. I'm mostly a DM when I do D&D, but I eat up those like emotional moments where characters are like slowing down and spending that time around each other. And I think like those interactions, like with Loki getting to kind of fuck stuff up and resolve it, I think like is really interesting, especially because I think that's something that like we can all learn from. Like friendships are messy, and an important part of that is having that understanding to work together on things.
Yeah, those character misunderstandings felt very real, and I really appreciated this. Like, oh, this kind of misunderstanding and the ripples it has in your relationship after that's real as fuck. I really appreciated y'all bringing that in. Thank you so much for joining me on this.
Thank you for having me.
Ruben, who are you? Where can we find your work? What was your favorite moment across the episodes?
Hi, I'm Ruben. You can find me mostly on Blue Sky under Urban Friend Den. My favorite moment has got to be Roomby's dropkick. What a stellar, stars align, planets all in retrograde, and just giving momentum to that. That was fantastic. I loved it.
Roomby kicked ass. Hell yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely. Speaking of, thank you so much, Tendai, for joining us on this run as well. I hope you had a great time. Where can we find you and your work, and what was your favorite moment?
I had a great time. You can find me at Geeky on pretty much all socials because I like the name and I'm too lazy to change it now. And yeah, you can also find me the 8th Dungeon, where I play Grey Stonefield, as well as the Emerald Collective, where I play Lantana. And yeah, my favorite part, ooh, I want to say like the kind of tension between Loki and Rumbi was a moment, but also I liked Torea's kind of like dark phoenix moment. Just the way like the way that was described, I was like, yes, we are Venom.
Yeah, exactly.
But also like I was still imagining that some of their outfit was still part of what they were wearing to the screening as well. So I was like, oh, that's a nice kind of. But yeah, no, that Torea, I never expected Torea going dark like that. That kind of threw me for a loop. I was like, oh no,
Everybody's
what's
nephew, such a sweet little
happening?
boy.
Mhm.
What's
Exactly,
We
the
broke
cinnamon
Terraria,
roll.
yeah.
We
And I
did.
can't help
We
but feel like we
absolutely.
all had a like part to play in that, and that makes it so much more painful with that
It's-
ending bit.
I want to loop back to what you said, Chalky, because yeah, the mechanics make sort of like these emotional like complex situations and intercharacter things. They make them like they signal they're coming, but they also make them more bearable because like we're entering that phase now.
Hmm.
And I love just watching like every single roll I succeeded, just like I'm going down, and just like my plan was I'm going to go down until someone raises me back up.
I
And
was
that's
trying to, but I never got the chance, and I was just watching like, oh no, someone please.
poor boy, poor
It's
little guy.
tricky. It's tricky because you can definitely play this game as like you just follow your feelings and what happens, or you can play it like super tactical and go through the process of
Mhm.
aligning everybody, getting everybody to similar heart rates so you can do sync attacks and stuff like that. There's
So I
lots of
find so
different.
cool because I was kind of, I think in the first session, I was very much like chaos. I just want to see what happens. Let's break things by just like going straight for heartbreak. And then after that, I was like, okay, I see the tactics for this now. And I've been trying to play a lot more tactical since then. Like for a while, I was trying to like basically hover at like the highest heartbroken state I could be because of the abilities without getting
It's so
returned.
powerful, but if you push
Yeah.
yourself too far, you go back to normal again, and you don't get
But
to
then it
roll
was
as
also
good
like
anymore.
it's almost like you have the impact of like I had the expense of while in character and out of character I was playing for power. Everyone else knew that, and it was impacting their relationships because everyone's like Loki's having a bad time, and Loki is doing that thing that people do sometimes where they decide to wallow in that and stay there. And I think that's like
Mhm.
where a lot of the relationship things happen. But I thought it was interesting that that was like from like role play side of things, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was mostly playing it mechanically, and
And
that
it
was
shook out
the
into the drama
impact.
anyway. I am
Yeah,
genuinely so glad that it
it was
plays out
really
like that.
interesting.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, if you didn't already know, am your androgynous android late night DJ Nathan Blades, available both on Twitch at the Neoncaster and the Neoncaster pretty much everywhere, including the neoncaster.itch.io, where you can obtain this game for yourself. I will also be at two conventions in November: Thought Bubble on the 16th and 17th of November, a comics and illustrators convention in Harrogate, and then I'll also be at Dragon Meet. Meet with two E's in Hammersmith in London on Saturday 30th of November, in which both instances I will have physical copies of Heartbeats in Perfect Sync for sale if you would like to go and get one. Yeah, no, exactly. Why do they call it that? It's so. I have to explain that every time that it's Dragon Meet with two E's because most of the people that would be interested in going to Dragon Meet the Tabletop Con would be like tonally aware of what Dragon Meet the other spelling could theoretically entail. So I have to clarify every time, otherwise it's a problem. So annoying. But yes, please do come say hi at either of those events, and
Yeah.
you too can get a physical copy of Heartbeats in
A
Perfect.
certain nefarious Drake company is also tabling on Dragon Meet.
Yes. There's lots of bits and pieces going on. Hopefully you'll get to see some of the other performers at that event too, if things line up. Potentially. Ooh, who knows? In terms of my favorite moment, oh gosh, I really loved everybody coming together to decide what happens in the lengths you go to save the people you love, and then being able to turn that into the character mechanics for the person who has seen that movie and has now been cursed by it. And that kind of came together in a way that was really, really cool. I really appreciated that. Also, the final beat of the first ep, and that's to both Chucky and Ruben's credit of me being kind of like, Terraria is being called away on urgent business. What do you do? And the kind of emotions like, you don't care about me, do you? This is just a job to you. It's like, I knew I got the right people to do the show. Yes, that's the exact drama I want from this. You understand the assignment. Thank you so much. So yeah, I hope everybody has had a fabulous time to do all the boilerplate bits and pieces one last time. Y'all already know, but I got to tell you on either side of it, just in case you forgot, you are tuning into Euphoria Actual Play, available both on Twitch and on YouTube. Go follow them on all the socials. They're on Blue Sky now, so is everybody else, including me. This entire kind of event has been partially sponsored or assisted by the UK Tabletop Industry Network, which has been connecting tabletop RPG designers and specifically making active efforts to support POC designers as well, including me, which is why my game is here. So glad to be able to be selected for this and for all of you. And also, this is done as part of October. October is Black History Month in both the UK and Ireland. You should be supporting Black Talent all across the year, but this month and for the next 2 days, you have absolutely no excuse. That's been everything. Have a fabulous Tuesday and the rest of your week, everybody. I'm sure you'll see us across the internet very soon. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.